Reserve out here for EFL game day. Templestowe taking on Boronia here in this Division 2 clash. Well, a good afternoon of footy ahead and almost a full round, 21 games on offer as you go local for your footy across the EFL. The only game that is not being played was played on Thursday where Blackburn defeated South Croydon. Hello everyone, my name's Steve White and I'm joined by two of the esteemed EFL panel members. I talk of first week, I don't think we had a Carlton draft slap bet on Tuesday. I think that was only me and Sensic. Gav Casey.
Good to be with you, Steve, and of course on the podcast. You made a fantastic debut. You might be forcing a regular out of their chair.
Yeah, he's got other engagements today, apparently.
Well, true, but performance has to be rewarded, as one of our coaches in the box will say. And from your performance, it's going to be hard to put a regular back in. We'll see how it goes on the podcast.
All right, well, I'll still take it. I'm on the emergency list. I was happy to come off the bench, but anyway. And also we talk of Brett Davidson. Davo, welcome.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, looking forward to a really good contest today. I like both these sides, and Boronia coming off their triple premiership performance last year, where they went in underdogs in all three team sides and came away with the wins in all three of them, which was sensational. And Templestowe, who have been a little bit of a quiet achiever over the break, getting some nice players into their side and playing on their home deck, which is a nice big deck in fantastic condition.
Yeah, it was interesting with Templestowe last year when they lost quite a few players, obviously the Marianis, etc. And quite a few people wrote them off, and they only just ended up missing out on the finals.
Yeah, and look, it was a really competitive, like the top 6-7 last year in the division was really, really competitive, and as it showed that Boronia, I think, finished third and ended up getting up and winning the flag. So, look, this year they've started off well, had a couple of wins, so unfortunately I think they've had a couple of injuries of late, which hasn't helped their list, but that'll just test the depth, and I'm sure when we have a chat to their coach we'll find out a little bit more about that.
It was interesting last year how we had 12 sides in it, what was Division 3 and is now reborn as Division 2 with a Premier Division invented, that there was a 6x6. 6 would stay in the division we are currently looking at with Boronia and Templestowe. And Templestowe, about halfway during the year, had a fantastic win over the Waverley Blues, who looked to be the 6th best at the time. And it sort of rebooted their season, and from there they peppered away, got a couple of, I think they beat a top 5 side before the end as well, so they were knocking on, they nearly got a run into the finals, but they were a little bit behind that break of 5 who committed. And Boronia, I think that's got to be the biggest surprise we've had in a few years, and I'm talking a few years, may expand out to 10 or 15 years in terms of a grand final upset, because Ringwood hadn't lost a game all season, and for Boronia on the day just were fantastic.
Yeah, look, I must admit I wrote a little bit of an article about what I thought were the top 5 performances of coaching in the last 5 years, and I thought that was probably the best coaching performance I've seen by any coach in the last 5 years in the Eastern Footy League. And it wasn't just that they beat Ringwood and then they beat Scoresby and that they beat Heathmont 3 in a row. It was the way they went about beating them. You've got to remember that they played Scoresby in a qualifying final and lost by 43 points and absolutely got pantsed. They've come out 2 weeks later and beaten them by 41 points. And purely on a coaching performance. They matched up beautifully, and then they did the same thing in the grand final. They went out, matched up magnificently on Ringwood, took out their key players, and then they were able to win the game fairly easily in the end.
And Boronia also, we talked about those 3 premierships. I mean, I called their 19s, and just an impressive performance to come from behind and win it by 5 points. So you talk about the depth that they have through all 3 levels. But we're joined now by Templestowe coach Craig DeCourcy. Craig, welcome.
Thanks, boys.
Travelling 2-0 so far. How are the boys travelling?
Oh, really well. Great start to the year. We've played 2 finalists from last year, so 2 good wins, and now we play the benchmark today, so we'll find out where we're at.
And we're talking, boys and us were talking off air about the injury to Cripps last week. Can we set the record straight on what exactly happened in the treatment? Because there's been a lot of conjecture as far as where we're concerned. We want to sort of set the record straight here. Yeah,
no, he did both bones, tibia, fibia. Really bad break. He's still in hospital as we speak. He's had a couple of surgeries, mainly to make sure there's no infection in the leg, because there was an open wound. So look, that they're doing the right thing in hospital and keeping him in there until he's right to go home. But I think he got some positive news yesterday, so he should be home within the week.
Yep.
And whilst we're doing an injury report, we might as well go into it. No Pearce on the team sheet, is that correct?
Yeah, Pearce is overplaying in the Fireys police game for Anzac in Adelaide, so he did that last year and he's there again this week. So,
and what about Davenport as well?
Yeah, Jace is unavailable this week due to his sort of Carlton coaching commitments and those sort of things, so he's unavailable this week.
Well, that's 3 big outs
In this year, and there's not much of him, but he's full of courage, and he's a major ball winner, so he's a really good player. Lukey Fitzsimons plays his first game this year. He got a taste last year, and he's a young player. He's earned his game today. Played some really good games in the twos, and was probably a bit unlucky to miss out. But he's a young player that stepped in. Sammy De Soysa down back. He's a really good player, and he's played a lot of footy up forward. We've thrown him down back, and he's been super down there. So there's probably a couple of blokes you can watch out for.
And I suppose, go back and look at your own coaching. You've had a year at the club now. It's your second year in. How are you feeling about that? Third year in, sorry, yes. Third year in. How are you feeling about another new year we've been able to turn the list over? And is it getting towards what you really want it to be now?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess you need a year or two just to sort of find your feet in coaching in general and the list you have. And last year we made some inroads into that list, and we really brought on the younger players and the core group of players you see today, and we've really been able to add to that with some quality this year, so I'm really happy with where the footy club's at.
And what about last year's season? In the end, you snuck up on the finalists and nearly pinched the spot. What might be unfair, but you got closer than people ever suspected. Was the Waverley Blues game a moment for the group to say, hang on, we can stop thinking about being down the bottom, let's go for finals? Because that seemed like you may be just pressing to avoid relegation, but it turned into a bit of a run after that.
Yeah, well, like I said, there was a lot of changes to the list from the previous year, and a lot of experience went out. So I think more than anything, the first part of the season was to find our feet, and a lot of the young guys find their feet in senior footy. So we had that up and down sort of spiral in the first half of the year, and in the back half of the year we really sort of got some consistency with that group. And look, we were really competitive, but we sort of burnt our chance in the first half of the year with some poor performances. So we probably didn't deserve to make the finals, but it was just great for the group to know that we could be competitive. And then we're really looking forward to this year, and we had a really big pre-season and focus on that.
And how big's Arangio today? Because I thought he played more games last year. He only had 6, but he kicked 20. He seems like he's a stay-at-home forward who can lead up to the ball. Is that how he plays, or are you going to have a game plan that revolves around him being the focal point?
No, we don't necessarily have a game plan around him. Obviously, there's probably going to be he's that different type of forward. So we believe we've got a really good mix up there between talls and smalls and different types of players. So you may even see him play up through the middle of the ground and those sort of things today. It
seems like they all play in the midfield, to cut in. Like in your team plan, if there's not players joining the stoppages, is that sort of the game plan that moves for Templestowe at its best?
Yeah, look, I think that's a method of mine. You've got to be versatile. You can't just play one position or one role. You need to, it might not work for you one day, and you need to know who you've got on your list to be able to kick you a goal or win a clearance or whatever it might be. So no, we're pretty comfortable where we're at. We've got a really versatile team, and we're just looking forward to the challenge.
Well, if you'd looked at 1 week into the finals last year, you wouldn't be saying that Boronia were going to be the benchmark of the competition, because they lost their first final by 40-odd points, and then they've gone on a magnificent run of 3 great wins. They've come out this year with 2 solid wins as well. What is it that you need to do to beat a Boronia who, when you look at their list, they've got a couple of young blokes who have come in, but their list is predominantly the same, who played 18 to 20 games last year right through, so they've got the consistency of knowing each other. What do you have to do to beat them? Yeah, no, look, we really have to shut down their midfield. They bat really, really deep through the middle of the ground. McKernan, Hannon, White, Henderson's a really good pinch hit ruckman when he goes in there, because he's good below his knees. So
we're going to have to match that area of the ground, definitely. And, they've got a couple of big forwards who can take a catch and kick a goal. So if it doesn't get down there enough, then that's probably our chance of winning the game. If it gets inside 50 more than what we can, then we're going to be in trouble. So really starts in the middle of the ground, and we're going to have to get on top in that area.
And local footy and playing in the same division with only normally one goes up and one comes down is that you get some rivalry. I remember commentating a game here where you won 2 years ago to get in the finals and kept Boronia out. That would be in their memory bank. But it seems like you've evolved into a new team since then, but you would recognise their players greatly.
Yep.
It's an interesting mix there, how you've gone through a change and they've sort of stayed the same but improved.
Yeah, and that's the exciting part for us is not too many of these guys, or maybe half of our team, hasn't really played this list before. So although we got great knowledge of them, they probably don't have great knowledge of us, and hopefully that's an advantage for us today.
All right, Craig, thanks for joining us here on EFL Game Day, and best of luck against the Hawks this afternoon.
Thanks, boys.
Good on you.
Templestowe coach Craig DeCourcy here on EFL Game Day. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with more EFL Game Day on SEN 1377 right after this.
Hi, it's Tim Watson, the all-new SEN app.
And you're clear.
Load today.
Thanks, Nigel.
Buns of Steel with Good Life Health Clubs. Get 20% off selected memberships plus 14 days free when you join today. T's and C's apply.
Super Rugby Live. Waratahs v Sharks tonight from 7 on 1377 SEN+.
The 2019 Toyota AFL season is now starting to take shape, so don't miss your exclusive Round 6 AFL record. Featuring teams, stats and facts in your expanded matchday section. Our special Anzac Round edition reflects on the impact war has had on football, and we list every player who made the ultimate sacrifice. And new each week, form line stats, how your team is travelling. Don't forget to grab your AFL record this weekend, still just $5. Thanks to Karcher, official 2019 partner of the AFL record.
Hello, I'm Max for the Family Peace Foundation. I wish Mum and Dad wouldn't drink as much as they do. It's not that they get really drunk. I know they love us all, but it's just not the same when they drink too much. Sometimes it's Mum, sometimes it's Dad, and sometimes it's both of them. If only they would try. Our family life would be so much better. Family Peace. Do it for your kids.
At Melbourne Airport, you can get 1 hour terminal parking for just $12. It makes it easy to greet your loved ones when they come home, or give them a proper send-off. You can also park for up to 3 hours for just $24 and 1 day for $51. That's cheaper than a taxi to and from the city. For warmer welcomes, proper goodbyes and everything in between, Melbourne Airport Parking is here to get you there. Visit melbourneairport.com.au.
Who can cater your corporate event or party with a taste that will keep your guests happy and chatty? Superman can! Everybody loves a traditional souvlaki or banquet, and who can do them perfectly? Superman can! Superman can come to you with his lamb and chicken charcoal spit and please any crowd of any size. Vegetarian? Gluten-free? Superman still can! So wherever you are in Melbourne, whenever you need something different and delicious, who can cater like no other man can? Superman can! Superman.com.au.
These undies that I'm holding are no ordinary undies. In fact, they're ovaries. Because on May 8th, World Ovarian Cancer Day, you're going to wear them over your pants. Like a true hero. 100% of the profits will go to Ovarian Cancer Australia to fight Australia's deadliest female cancer. So, start saving lives and buy your ovaries in-store or online today at Bonds or Bras and Things. It's time for overreaction.
Very nice. These blokes love it when a new car model comes out. Lovely. Sure, they like the sleek new lines, but what really gets their engines revving are the filters.
These are beauty.
The guys at Ryco can't wait to make filters for the latest cars. And because they design and test them in Australia, you can rely on your Ryco filters to provide you with genuine performance. So for the widest range of quality filters, insist on Ryco filters, the professional's choice.
Mate, you finally going to build that man cave out the back?
Yeah, sure am. Just on the Robot Building Supplies website now.
What do they sell?
Everything I need to build the best man cave a bloke ever hid from his family in. Steel wall sheeting, corrie sheeting, purlins, steel, insulation, Rio mesh, bolts.
30 seconds.
I can order it on the...
30 seconds.
Notting Hill, Sunshine,
You're a couple
Preston,
slow,
Drummond,
Nigel.
Pakenham, Coldstream and Darnham. Call 1300-GO-ROBOT or order at robotbuildingsupplies.com.au.
ROBOT Robot Building Supplies.
All-day socks by Underworks are the best socks you'll ever wear. They're seriously comfy and designed to stay up all day without digging in or leaving ugly red marks. Pick up a pair of all-day
10.
You'll chuck all your other socks out. Available at all leading retailers.
Kevin Bartlett here. Your new SEN app is here. Catch up on all your favourite show podcasts. Download today.
All right, here we go. Putting your mics on.
You go local for your footy.
Go.
And welcome back to EFL Game Day here on SEN 1377 SCN Plus. We are just moments, well, actually not moments, about 45 minutes away from the start of Templestowe and Boronia here in Division 2 across the EFL. 21 games across the EFL today as you go local for your footy. The only game that wasn't or won't be played today was played on Thursday on Anzac Day, and that was Blackburn defeating South Croydon. Sorry, there were two games of Sylvan and Coldstream, my bad, thanks Gav. Blackburn and South Croydon, ripping game of footy, and Blackburn coming from behind to defeat South Croydon after they got out to a flyer, 6 goals in the first quarter.
Yeah, look, I think it's it shows the maturity of a Blackburn group who, the week before against Baldwin played incredibly well out at Baldwin. They've now got a big challenge next week when they play Vermont. Yep. So, they've had it's 3 in a row, which is pretty tough for them, but they seem to have all the answers there. They're pretty balanced all over the ground, got some good tools, new ruckman, which has been fantastic, and they were good. South Croydon, obviously a better performance in their first 2 rounds. Were level at three-quarter time, could have gone on with it. Probably just ran out of legs at the end, and Blackburn were just a little bit too good.
Do you think Blackburn's got a bomb-proof game going forward? I mean, Vermont might be a better side as we see it at the moment. But Blackburn's game plan, they tackle hard, they get the ball into open space and they stream forward. And even if the ball goes in high, at least they've got Baffy or Hammond or someone of that ilk to take a mark.
Their balance is excellent, isn't it? I mean, that's the thing that we look at. Otten in the back half, who's if he plays on the right type, or if they can match up on the right type, his ability to sag off and play that loose man. And it's not so much him playing the loose man, it's the fact that when he gets the football, he kicks it 60 on his left. And he really can hit long targets. So, he's a huge plus for them. But the other huge plus is that their mids, they bat very deep in the mids like Vermont do. They run hard. Their tackling pressure was enormous, especially against Baldwin. And then they, Conquer as a small forward has proved that he's able to stand up and give them something there which they hadn't had for a while.
And also, Gav, the addition of Lockie Howe, absolutely dominant in the ruck so far this season. Yeah,
look, and he's not a big marker around the ground, but his presence in the middle is excellent. That's the one area that probably Vermont are going to have to look at, having lost Robbie Ross. We don't know if Buxton's, whether he's going to come back or not from Casey because of performance, so we don't know what's happening there. So really their ruck is the one area that they're probably not as strong in now that Robbie's out of the game for a number of weeks. So that'll be a fascinating game. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked to see whether it is at Blackburn. Yeah. So that will be a ripping game to go along and watch, because I was so impressed with Vermont round 1 and as equally as impressed with Blackburn in round 2.
Can we flip the coin? Obviously, we've talked about Baldwin previously, had a chance to see them. But you got lambasted for saying South Croydon might be on the slide.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Apparently.
Just a reminder there, Gav.
Yeah, well, I'm just pulling a knife out of your back. You're hunted down on those comments. And I mean, the 3 weeks of evidence has maybe justified your opinion.
Oh, well, look, it wasn't based on 3 weeks. It was based on looking at the lists of all the sides and the strengths of all the lists. And not that South Croydon had a poor list. It's just that I thought the other teams had actually recruited a little bit better, and that the Rovilles, I thought, were going to be a bit stronger. I thought Blackburn was going to be a bit stronger. We knew Vermont was going to be good. It was then looking at what happens after that. And when you got down to a 10-team game, as I said in my article, you could throw a blanket over teams from, I think, 3 to 7 or 8 even, and there might only be a 1 or 2 game differential between them. Now, South Croydon have started off 0-3.
But how have they played?
They've played 3 good sides. Although Baldwin, the big issue I'd probably say with South Croydon is that they've lost 2 home games. They've lost to Baldwin at home, and they've lost to Blackburn at home, and then they've been beaten by Roval. So it's not like they've been beaten by 3 of the teams that have been towards the bottom of the 10. They've been beaten by good football sides, but they need to get back on track now. They've got a couple of games which I think are probably quite winnable over the next couple of weeks, and then they'll come up, I think, in around about week 8 against Vermont, which will be another great test for them.
And you find if you fall behind the 50-50 ratio, you're chasing the season. Baldwin couldn't get back into the finals once they accumulated a couple of losses, and that was their first time in 24 years or something that they hadn't made a finals. So if you get behind the ledger, it's and Norwood have found it previously as well. You can't chase seasons when the comp is so consistently good.
And that's the issue, and you get injuries as you go further along. And the thing with South Croydon, they've got a lot of players that are on VFL lists. Yeah. So if they're playing well, they're not coming back. If they're not playing well, then they get them back, and that's fine. So your X-Factor player like Frank Anderson, who's a magnificent X-Factor player, who's playing a lot of VFL football, makes it tough.
And the other game, obviously, Sylvan and Coldstream, we didn't see. But your take on Division 4 so far?
Well, I would think that Coldstream have been a surprise to me.
Yep.
I didn't think that they were going to be as good, but have a look at their coach and have a look at what he's been able to do at Upper Gully. When he was at Upper Gully, he took them to an undefeated season. He's now come across to Coldstream, 2 years there. I think it's his second year. Yep. Now they're playing some really good football. They did recruit well. They got a couple of the boys back to the club that had moved back to the Yarra Valley League. Cecere and these boys have come back into the group who are very, very good footballers. So, they've been fantastic. And Sylvan, they will be up there as well. Don't worry about that. They've got a good list, well coached. So I think they're 2 of the sides that in that division, along with East Burwood, are going to probably be the top 3 in the group. And then it's who will sneak in will be the other issue.
Sometimes we don't see linear improvement in football clubs because of the movement of players, and it just doesn't work like that. Competition's always shifting. But there was halfway through the season where Coldstream and Sylvan didn't have the wins, but they started to beat teams above them, and they got some wins on the board. And you could see a linear improvement because they probably brought some guys in that weren't getting a game. They changed it up, and Coldstream is one of those ones that have been showing a linear improvement, and so is Sylvan. So to see them in the top reach of that comp is probably to be expected.
Hey, and not only that, have a look at their ground. So Coldstream played on a huge ground, but have a look at all the other grounds that they get to play on. They get to play on Nunawading, they play on Forest Hill, they play Sylvan, they play on Kilsyth. Fair Park's not very big, so they get to play on a lot of small grounds. So the fact if they can take advantage of the size of their ground and run, they're going to really push a lot of sides who probably haven't got the fitness levels because they're just playing small grounds all the time.
One quick question, this might be abstract, but how is it that when footballers have to get in their car and drive further than 30 minutes, that it's quite upsetting for their routine? You coach clubs. The Coldstream's not that far away, seriously, but it becomes a bit of a journey. Is it hard to logistically get a club up and about in away games?
I suppose all it is, it's an unusual ground. It's the size of the ground is unusual. It is a drive to get there, there's no doubt about that, but they also play the ground pretty well. It's quite a parochial crowd, so they generally always get a good crowd up there, so it can be quite a strong crowd that you're playing against. And you've got to be really disciplined to go up there and play good football, really disciplined.
So we should have Boronia coach Matt Clark joining us shortly here on EFL Game Day. We'll get his thoughts on Boronia Football Club and the game today. At the moment, out there it's Templestowe and Boronia reserves. Boronia 4-6-30, leading Templestowe 3-21, about 12 minutes into the third quarter. And I think, gents, we might actually start going through the games as we await the arrival of Matt Clark. We'll start...
hang on.
Oh, actually, I speak too soon. Perfect timing. So... We are joined on the broadcast now by Boronia coach Matt Clark. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
How are the boys travelling so far with a 2-0 start?
Yeah, I'm really pleased. Two tough games. Obviously, Mulgrave round 1 at home, unfurling the flags, was a big contest for us, and the way we started that game with 6 goals straight up, and really where we left off last year was pleasing. And last week, or 2 weeks ago, before the break against the Basin at the Basin, it's always going to be a tough game, and physically I think the Basin certainly took it to us early and intimidated us a little bit as far as we couldn't get a score on the board, and what pleased me most about that game was we were able to defend. Even though we didn't have control of the game, we could defend really well, kept them to 2 goals, and after quarter time, although it be inaccurate, I thought we adjusted to their pressure, started to move the ball to the parts of the ground that we wanted to, and got ascendancy and another good win. So it was a great start to the year.
So you had a great year last year for the Boronia Footy Club. 3 flags. You've maintained most of your list from first glance. So motivation, no problem for the boys coming back this year. Often it can be the case if you win a flag.
Yeah. We spoke about it the very first training night, and the good thing is they're all so young. We had 15 under 21 or 21 and under in the grand final. So now they're actually hungry. They've got a taste for it. They've got belief. And the way we've done the pre-season, I couldn't be prouder of them. As far as fitness goes, we're ahead of where we were last year. Our game style, they understand it now. Like last year we were introducing it, now they understand it, and I think we're really well organised where we need to be, and the leaders have grown too, which is going to be the key. In such a young list, we need our leaders to control the game.
And Matt, congratulations on the premiership. Not everyone expected it of the morning of the day, but fantastic game. You well deserved it. But you didn't get effectively a promotion in that you're playing the same competition in effect.
Yep.
Is that a good thing for the club because they can aim for back-to-back and know that it's a great competition to be in?
Yeah, we knew at the start of the year, like obviously you don't put everything, if we win a flag, what ifs and that, but obviously once you get there you start talking about it. In reality, we knew what was going to be the outcome, so we just have to deal and adjust and adapt to it, and I think we've done that really, really well. Ideally, we would have loved to gone up, and we would have liked the competition to allow us to do that as far as the structure, but we're here, and now we're going to have to really earn it again, and the whole restructure's made, I think, every division a tighter and tougher division, so there is no easy game, so to speak, where you can take a breath, and I fully expect, the way Templestowe's watched it, and the good thing is now every game's getting coverage, so we get to watch in this division now every other opposition play, and that's always good for our oppo analysis and just to see what's going on out there, and they'll put the work into us and we'll put the work into them, and it's up to the players to go find the footy and activate it.
Yeah, well, Boronia's a great ball side. Movement is probably your trademark. But in that, I remember talking to you on an EFL Sunday when South Belgrave were struggling. They went a bit harder physically, and it seemed to, you said it unsettled you for 3 quarters before you got on top of them. And then you just talked about the Basin physically stepped up the game. Do you think that's something that teams might target, is to just go as hard as you can to tire you guys off the ball?
Yeah, totally agree. And you know what? Who wouldn't? Because I think if you're playing a side that's won a premiership or a top side, you've got to look for that chink in the armour. And I think the way footy's played nowadays, physicality is part of it, and we like to pride ourselves on not only withstanding it, but also being a strong physical side and a disciplined side around it too, because that's the biggest thing. Like, even referring back to that South Belgrave game last year up at South Belgrave, it was a wet, cold day, and it would have been a game I think they would have dropped in previous years, Boronia, but it gave us really good belief, and the difference was in the end was not the physicality side of it, was a discipline side. They had 4 players sent off when we were able to maintain our discipline. Also always defend, but we had our head over the footy, we got the result, and that gave us belief in not only being physical capable to handle whatever the opposition brings, but also being disciplined, how important that is in the game of footy.
The ability last year to be able to do different things between week to week was probably what stood out to me more than anything else, was the ability of the team to change up, the ability of the players who are very young to actually come out and do something a bit different and not do the same thing each week. You come into a new year, you've had 2 wins. What is it that you need to do different today to beat Templestowe Footy Club?
Yeah, so we've done video reviews, so we brought that to the club last year, and we really were on a big education piece, and the good thing is that they are sponges and they love to learn, and that's drives us to even provide better information, and it allows us to give them more, I suppose, changing. Our basic game plan doesn't change. Our style against the opposition's game style does. So we just like to work out where their possible weakness could be, and then we like to expose that wherever we can. Again, using our strengths to that. So today against Templestowe, we know, like from watching the first 2 games, they've started extremely well. They've got a dangerous mobile forward line. They really quarterback well around the stoppages. We're aware of where their ruck hits go, and we know their half back line is their driving force, so they're willing to go backwards to go forwards and switch and change lanes. And it's not too dissimilar what Ringwood do, and not too dissimilar what we're trying to do too. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think the critical part for both teams today will be who wins the football, because I think we'll both be really well organised behind the football. So it's speed of ball once we get it.
And I think probably one of the things, I know you would be looking at the ground, you'd have a big smile on your face with the fact that this ground gives you an opportunity for your players to actually play the style that I know you want them to be able to play, their ability to run and carry, their ability to use the football well, and you've got such a deep midfield that is able to transition forward and back, just allows you to basically run. You've nearly got 8 midfielders on a really large ground, which is certainly something that would put a smile to your face.
I love playing here. It's a good ground, and especially if you've got the cattle to be able to, as you said, to play it too. So we bat really deep in our midfield, and the good thing is our mids can play forward, and we like to keep our good players on the ground as long as we can. So yeah, that's always key. With good size around the footy too. Like we've got some 6'3" guys who are strong, who can run, and we can play them at full forward, which is really a challenge for opposition, I think, when we move the ball quickly into a dangerous spot.
Now, last year we didn't get to see much of young Chin, and I know he's been trialling at a VFL club, and we've got him today. What do we get to look at today? Because I've heard he's a really exciting talent.
He is. So, just a little bit about Harvey's background. So Harvey was at Eastern Rangers last year, was starting to miss out on games, so played a lot of 19s football, and I did resist the challenge, I suppose, to play him straight in the scenes. I made him earn it, really, which was a massive challenge in his resilience and belief too. And then once he got in, listen, he's a really, really good fit footballer who uses the ball well. Got the ability to tackle, play inside, but he's good on the outside. He's able to run, a bit like Wilson from Templestowe too. I rate the way he goes about the football. So he got a run. He actually played at Port Melbourne last week, Harvey, which is great for his first senior game for the Port, and with the 23rd man rule, which is fantastic, and we get to have him back today, which I'm always wrapped with. I actually, it sounds strange, but I actually want him to play at Port Melbourne. I'd love seeing kids come through the system and play at the highest level for as long as they can, but if he comes back, he goes out, he plays with the freedom, he understands the structure, and he's a really good team player. But yeah, you'll like the way he goes in and gets the footy and he tackles. He's a really good tackler.
The more Harvey Chins you produce, the more Harvey Chins want to come to your club as a feeder club, so you want your players to step up, of course.
100%, and we've been really blessed, like not only a strong junior program at Boronia, but we've had quite a few from Eastern Rangers come through the ranks, which is always good, because their top end talent's good. It's just about teaching them to play local football and understand that what's required as far as the tackling and the winning your inside ball and doing the T-Max all the time, which I was super proud of last year, the guys doing it, but they're doing it again this year.
Just back on the game, Templestowe, I would imagine, might try to outnumber you at in the stoppages and around those contests, and the half forwards might come up to the contest. What instructions do you give to your half-backs? Do they stay back? Do they play a running game to try to play off their opponents, or do they have to go into the contest with the guys that come in from the half-forward line?
It's a good question, because it really does matter where the ball is getting balled up around the ground. So we like to hold our numbers around the contest, but if they're applying too many, we have to balance the numbers too. So we just can't sit back and say, well, eventually if it's 12 on 6, we're going to be outnumbered and they're going to get the ball. We've got to be able to apply pressure at the contest. So I'm quite happy to have 1 or 2 less in certain parts of the ground, but we've got to be able to force a dump kick. So then we've got the numbers behind the footy and we can build and change a lane and get out the other side. So it is really... We do a lot, believe it or not, even on Thursday night this week, we've done a game. So we do a lot of practice for those situations. I think it's critical. So the guys understand what part of the ground, what we need to do. And they also understand if we've got less numbers there, how to outnumber or how to play with less numbers if it's 2 less. We don't usually go with 3 or 4 less. We'll have 2 less. And we'll have good voice around the contest, instructing the guys in the contest where to go and who to look for.
Do you think Templestowe try to lose their opponent by going into the contest and spit out so that they run into open space and lose? Is that how you can, as a forward, you can lose your opponent?
I think any side can do that. It's just, are they dangerous when they go in? That's got to be, because when a forward goes in, if you win the football, generally you're going to go forward anyway. So you've got to make sure that, if you're going up too high to, let's say, our half forward line and you commit numbers there, if you do get a kick and it just resets all the time, you're playing into the opposition's hands. So I think wherever you are on the ground, you've got to back that your mids are going to do your mids job. And really rolling up a forward for me would be to stalk a quarterback at a contest or something like that, or give you a lateral spread option where you can just bring it out wide and then get it to the spot where you want to get it to. So they outnumber, there's no doubt about that. They work hard, and we even noticed in round one, like last year, I know we got them by a fair bit, but they were well drilled and well structured. So I think Craig's got them in a really good space, and now they're fitter and understand everything really well. So I'm expecting two really well organised sides to go out there today and see what happens.
All right, Matt, we'll let you go and get ready for the troops and get ready for the game. Thanks very much for joining us, and good luck against Templestowe this afternoon.
Good luck with the call. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Matt Clark, head of the Boronia Football Club here. We'll take a short break, and we'll go back to SEN 1377 plus. So don't go away.
Breakfast with Gary and Tim.
And you're clear. 4 minutes.
Easter
Thanks, Nigel.
With more great deals on big brand tyres. At Tyre Power, you'll get the power of our giant giveaway on Toyo tyres. Simply buy 3 and we'll give you 1 free on a great range of Toyo passenger car and SUV tyres. That's right, buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Toyo tyres at Tyre Power. Conditions apply. See website or in-store for details. Tyre Power's massive Easter sale is now on. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local owner operator.
G'day. Here's a slightly intelligent way to get all the latest tips for worldwide soccer. Just jump on a plane to England, grab a cab from the airport to the nearest pub, find a group of likely looking blokes and listen in. Then rush to a bookie to get your bets on. Or there's the global sports intelligence way, where you just sit at home and get all the latest market updates on your PC, phone or pad. For the best tips on worldwide soccer, baseball, NBA and more, visit gsitips.com.au. Intelligent, easy. Gamble responsibly.
If you're flying to Tasmania, do you need your passport? If your flight's only 30 minutes, should you bring a neck pillow? Is jet lag contagious? What is a time zone? Can you take a cactus in your carry-on, or is it considered a sharp object? You've got enough to think about when you fly, so here are 3 things you don't have to think about. Get checked baggage, food and entertainment on your own device included on Virgin Australia. Exclusions apply.
Who can cater your corporate event or party with a taste that will keep your guests happy and chatty? Superman can! Everybody loves a traditional souvlaki or banquet, and who can do them perfectly? Superman can! Superman can come to you with his lamb and chicken charcoal spit and please any crowd of any size. Vegetarian? Gluten-free? Superman still can! So wherever you are in Melbourne, whenever you need something different and delicious, who can cater like no other man can? Superman can! Superman.com.au.
At Melbourne Airport, you can get 1 hour terminal parking for just $12. It makes it easy to greet your loved ones when they come home, or give them a proper send-off. You can also park for up to 3 hours for just $24, and 1 day for $51. That's cheaper than a taxi to and from the city. For warmer welcomes, proper goodbyes, and everything in between, Melbourne Airport parking is here to get you there. Visit melbourneairport.com.au.
Very nice. These blokes love it when a new car model comes out. Lovely. Sure, they like the sleek new lines, but what really gets their engines revving are the filters.
These are beauty.
The guys at Ryco can't wait to make filters for the latest cars. And because they design and test them in Australia, you can rely on your Ryco filters to provide you with genuine performance. So for the widest range of quality filters, insist on Ryco filters, the professional's choice.
Hello, I'm Max for the Family Peace Foundation.
How long we got, Nigel?
I wish Mum and Dad wouldn't drink as much as they do.
Okay, come up to 45 seconds.
Thanks, mate.
I know they love us all, but it's just not the same when they drink too much. Sometimes it's Mum, sometimes it's Dad, and sometimes it's both of them. If only they would try. Our family life would be so much better. Family Peace. Do it for your kids.
These undies that I'm holding are no ordinary undies.
30.
Ovaries. Because on May 8th, World Ovarian Cancer Day, you're going to wear them over your pants. Like a true hero. 100% of the profits will go to Ovarian Cancer Australia to fight Australia's deadliest female cancer. So, start saving lives and buy your ovaries
10 seconds.
in store.
10.
Or bras and things. It's time for overreaction.
Waitley, Monday from 9 on SEN.
Here we go, putting your mics on.
Thanks, Nigel.
And go.
And welcome back to EFL Game Day here on SEN 1377 SEN Plus. As you go local for your footy, it's EFL Game Day live from Templestowe Reserve out here in Templestowe, where Templestowe will be taking on Boronia in this Division 2 clash, round 3 of the Eastern Football League. Currently in the reserves, it's Boronia 5-6-36, leading Templestowe 3-4-22. 20 games across the Eastern Footy League this afternoon. And gentlemen, I think we'll get stuck right into it with starting with the Premier Division, Vermont and Montrose.
Look, I'm going for Vermont. Not going to talk too much about it. I think they're just going to be a little bit too classy at Vermont.
It's 1v10 in my opinion, so yep. Vermont.
Yep, okay, that's pretty well said. Now, probably the most tantalising clash, I'd say, of Division 1 this afternoon, Doncaster and Rowville at Shrams. 0-2 plays 2-0.
Yeah, and look, and that's probably the reason why I'm going to go for Rowville. I've been really impressed with them and the start of their season. They've recruited extremely well. Doncaster, a bit of a disappointing start, but you can never discount them. That's the fact. I've liked Doncaster for the last couple of years, and I think they're a really hard side to beat, but I think Rowville will have too much class.
Yeah, I saw Doncaster play Vermont. They're very disappointing, I think, in terms of generating a score, but that just could have been the opposition. I'll give them one more chance before I tick over to Rowville, because I think Rowville on form, but I just fancy Doncaster at home are very hard to beat, so I'm tipping Doncaster.
And I committed to Doncaster on EFL Inside. I'm sure Dan Sensic hasn't forgotten about that. So, moving on, North Ringwood and Balwyn.
Well, Balwyn were very disappointing against Blackburn after the first probably quarter, but I think they'll bounce back. North Ringwood have had a tough 2 weeks already. They'll no doubtedly get better as the season goes on, as they get a few players back, but I think Balwyn will be too strong.
Well, I imagine Pendlebury and Richards aren't playing if their hamstrings are what they are. That is a 3-week injury. Saying that, there was enough in their bad performance to say that they're a pretty good side. They can move the ball quickly and they can get it inside 50, which is sometimes very hard to do for some teams. So I'm going to tip Balwyn today, but I've almost given a case for North Ringwood there, so I'm not sure. But Balwyn.
Yep, I'll go Balwyn as well, looking for them to bounce back against their loss to Blackburn at home. And final game in Division 1, the Premier Division this afternoon, Norwood and Noble Park.
This is the hardest one, I believe, to pick. Noble Park were pretty good, young. I was surprised at how young they were when we saw them against Montrose. They played some good football. And they play some exciting football there. They like to run and gun a fair bit. Norwood were completely outclassed against Vermont in round 1, but they got better the next week and had a very, very good win against North Ringwood. So at home, I'm going to tip Norwood, but purely because I think it's at home.
Yeah, I agree on the sentiment that Norwood are hard to beat at home, and I just don't like the ground, how it goes uphill. Don't you find it's an interesting ground to view at, how it's sloped?
It is an interesting ground, full stop, and they do play it well. And it's tough to come out to play on that ground. Noble are really well coached, so you'd expect them to be close on it, but I just think Norwood might get over the line.
Yeah, I think Norwood, I think Noble Park, after watching them against Montrose the other week, they're just a couple of those pieces, they're not really set, particularly in the forward line. Not 100% maybe in terms of the skill level. And
just trying to find out who's going to stop Williams is going to be the key thing. They've got some really nice talls in their side, but they're quite young and they're not built yet.
Yeah.
They're going to be very, very good footballers. So stopping Williams is going to be a little bit tough, I think.
And that wraps it up for the Premier Division. Moving on to Division 1, full set of games across Division 1. East Ringwood and Lilydale.
Great to see East Ringwood get on the board with a very, very tight win against Lilydale, today against Lilydale, who have had to come from behind in both games and win them both basically right on the death.
Yep.
That says something about their side, though, their ability to do that. They're going to be top 2 side this year, I think, Lilydale, and I think they're going to be able to account for East Ringwood today at East Ringwood.
Yeah, just for tipping purposes, I'm going to break it down simply. East Ringwood aren't scoring and Lilydale can score very quickly. So when the game needs to be won, I just fancy scoreboard will be in the favour of Lilydale, just the fact that they can get easy goals the way they play. And but East Ringwood are just as good, so I'm really looking forward to the scores as they come in, whether it's a low-scoring game and just to see where these two teams are, because I think they are potentially grand finalists between the two of them.
And if you haven't seen Corey Bernstein's goal from last week against Park Orchards, jump on the EFL Facebook page and check it out, Ripper. All right, moving on to Bayswater and Knox.
Well, it's a toss of the coin, this one.
Yeah.
I found this one really tough to work out. Bayswater always tough to beat. Knox have certainly playing some reasonably good football at the moment. I'm going to stick with Knox. But it's just, it is a toss of the coin for me.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you on that as well. Knox, this is their level. They seem to be able to play their best football at this level. Bayswater, if I tip them, they won't win. If I don't tip them, they'll probably win. So I'll give them a helping hand and I'll tip Knox.
Incredibly scientific there from Gav Casey. I'm going Knox as well. Now, Park Orchard at Croydon. Park Orchard's coming off that we talked about last minute loss to Lilydale last week.
Yeah, but they've been a bit of a surprise packet, I think, at the start of the season. They've played 2 pretty good games of football, knocked off Upper Gully in round 1. So that was a very good win. Playing Croydon, who started the season so well against Murrelbach, but then really got touched up a fair bit by Donny East last game. I'm going to stick with Park Orchards at Park Orchards, another difficult ground to play.
Yeah, I reckon there's at least 5 good, really, really good sides. This is a great comp, and I think Park Orchards are in the mix. They could miss the final still.
Yep,
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Out of 8 teams, there's some 5 at least good chances of winning a premiership, and I think Park Orchards are in the mix. Where Croydon, they're competitive, but they're just not as good as some of these teams.
And moving on to Wanney South and Upper Ferntree Gully. Wanney South undefeated, Upper Ferntree Gully winless.
That's another one. I didn't pick either of those scenarios. I thought Upper Gully were going to be a little bit better than that. Having said that, Upper Gully have played East Ringwood and been beaten at the death, and Park Orchards rolled them, which was a very good win for Park Orchards. I am tipping Wanturna South in this. They've seemed to have levelled out pretty well, and they're on the right track at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game, I think. Maybe Wanturna South in a close one, just home ground advantage for the tip.
Okay, and finally, Murrelbach, who are struggling early versus Donny East, who made a pretty easy work of Croydon last week.
Yeah, I think Donny East, one of the top 2 sides in the competition, motoring along beautifully. Murrelbach struggling at the moment, and even though it's at Murrelbach, I think Donny East will get over the line.
Yeah, this is the easiest one to tip. Donny East have got a class edge, and they've got plenty of goals in them today, I think.
Good roughie, maybe.
No, it'd be such a roughie that I couldn't do it.
Hey, maybe just toss the coin. All right. Moving on to Division 2, full slate of games there as well. Mitcham taking on Heathmont.
Oh, this is going to be a very good game. Heathmont have certainly surprised last week, a very, very good win. Mitcham have started off the season well with 2 wins, so I think when you're talking about their right positions, I think this is Mitcham's right position at the moment for the club. I think in this division is where they sit quite nicely. They still don't think they have the depth of list to be in the next division up. I'm tipping them to win, but only just against Heathmont.
I'm glad I went to Heathmont versus the Basin, because when on the piece of paper Heathmont lose half their goals in 3 players leaving the club, you go, well, they just got to go to the bottom, don't they? But they are going to move the ball differently. They're going to get more contests running, and they're going to try to sprint from the contest into the forward line and just sort of run the ball to goal.
Yep.
And I think that would work for them. They've got some skillful players, some big bodies, so I think they'll be competitive. Mitcham, I can't say I'm sure yet, but if they beat Heathmont, I'll be more sure that they're a very, very good side. But I'm going to tip in an upset Heathmont.
Okay, I'm riding the Richmond train. Moving on to Ringwood and the Basin. Ringwood winless. The Basin playing some pretty good footy with a pretty young side so far this season.
Yeah, well, look, I still think Ringwood, you cannot replace Ben Power and Trent Farmer. And people forget how good Ben Power was. He was the dominant ruckman in the competition last year, and it's one of the reasons why Boronia won a grand final was because they were able to nullify the strength of Power, particularly after half-time in games. They haven't been able to replace either of those two, and you can tell with their goal scoring potential has dropped away dramatically. At Ringwood, I'm going to tip Ringwood because they've got to be better than what they've shown so far. But the Basin are certainly playing some good football, and it would not surprise me if they got over the line, but I'm going to stick with Ringwood.
It's another good division, a really even lot. I think Ringwood, you talk about their scoring power getting lower because of Power, but they're conceding goals. The fact that their opponents are scoring over 100 in what we now know football to be a low-scoring game, the fact that they're conceding scores is the worry for me. And I think the Basin might just get up by less than a kick.
Yeah.
But I'm probably downgrading Ringwood just out of what I've seen them concede in scores. But yeah, I just fancy there's an upset here with the Basin.
I don't think also the Basin, they lost Max Kruger obviously in the off-season. We thought that was going to be a big loss. So far, so good. They've got, I think, 16 players running out every week under the age of 21. So that's a big boom for Justin Stanton over there at Batterham. So I'm going to go the Basin as well. Moving on to Scoresby and Mulgrave, two winless sides.
Yeah, look, Mulgrave have really struggled. I think Scoresby have been in both games so far, and it's not like they've been battered. The biggest issue with Scoresby is the fact that they've got an outstanding defence. They've got a really good, strong midfield. They lack a ruckman. That's certainly an issue for them. They just can't kick goals at the moment. They just can't get enough firepower up there. And while the two players that they lost in Hicks and Hare are not 6'4" players, but they kicked 100 goals between them last year. So they've lost 100 goals and not been able to replace it. So defensively strong, midfield strong. They just can't kick a score. Having said that, I think they can against Mulgrave. I think that it'll be a low-scoring game, but I think at Scoresby will get over the line today.
Scoresby couldn't afford to lose young legs as well, of the talent they've lost, but I think Mulgrave have been very disappointing. It's been a few years now since we've seen them be a good side, so it's quite disappointing to see that, but I think Scoresby's the tip today.
And the last game, obviously, Templestowe and Boronia in this division. So we'll move on to Division 3. Waverley Blues and South Belgrave in a good run of form so far.
Yeah, South Belgrave, I think, are one of those, well, they're not a smoke anymore. They're certainly standing up to say we're here and we're here to win it. And I think they've got just an enormous amount of exciting footballers on their list. So I think they're going to probably be too good for Waverley Blues. I think they've got a couple of key outs. Miles is out today and another one of their key players. So I think they're probably just going to be able to run over the top of them, even though it's at Waverley, which is a tough ground to play at.
They haven't been able to set a permanent 22 yet, Waverley Blues. South Belgrave, in my opinion, are the number one ranked side in this comp, so I think they'll beat Waverley Blues.
And moving on to Ferntree Gully versus Glen Waverley. Ferntree Gully getting over White Horse last week, and Glen Waverley dropping it to the Waverley Blues.
Yeah, look, this is going to be another tough one to pick. I think, and you can't talk about grounds because both sides play on enormous grounds, so it's going to be a test to see who is going to sit better with their new coaching group. Ferntree Gully with a new lot of players have come in, and then you've got a new coaching group at Glen Waverley Hawks. I'm going to stick with Gully after last week's win. I think they might just be too good.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This division hasn't settled in my mind on where these teams are ranked, and that's how I'd normally like to tip based on rankings. I just think Glen Waverley were disappointing to lose the Waverley Blues last week, so they might be an upset today, Glen Waverley, but I'll tip Ferntree Gully.
Okay, and moving on to Warrandyte and White Horse Pioneers. Warrandyte's looking for their first win.
Yeah, well, this is the one where I've got both of these completely wrong. I thought Warrandyte were going to be a lot stronger through their recruiting than what they have been, and I thought White Horse Pioneers were going to drop away a little bit because of the key players that they lost. and I was certainly reminded by a lot of the White Horse Pioneers faithful who were at the Blackburn-Baldwin game. They reminded me of my tips, so I'm going to stick with White Horse Pioneers, so they stay in favour with them.
Political tip.
You know what, Davo? You know this well. You only get feedback when you're wrong.
Yeah.
Or you said something negative about them. Yep. That's the only time anyone comes and wants to have a chat to you. So I'm not surprised White Horse have given you some feedback. Again, I'm not sure who to tip, so Warrandyte potentially could win at home.
And the last game, Chirnside Park and Donvale. Chirnside, well, they're struggling early as well.
Yeah, and that has been a surprise. They recruited reasonably well for the division, but they just obviously haven't gelled yet. Donvale, bit of a smoky Donvale,
Yeah.
I think. I certainly have underrated the inclusion of Purcell into the group and how good he has certainly been to straighten them up. They've also got Carl Toche and Rouser are back in the side this week, both very, very good midfielders. So I think Donvale will come away with a reasonably comfortable win against Chirnside.
Yeah, have to tip Donvale. They've got the goals in them with Murphy as well in the lineup, and I'm tipping Donvale.
And that does it for Division 3. Moving on to the final division, Division 4, East Burwood and Kilsyth.
East Burwood will win this. Kilsyth are in a world of hurt at the moment. But the fact is that they're continuing to push on, and they are scoring. It's not like they're not scoring. The problem is they can't defend, and they're having big scores kicked against them. So I think East Burwood will come away with a comfortable win.
Yeah, this is a pretty obvious one. East Burwood should win this.
And Fair Park and Surrey Park. Now, we spoke to Jesse Pearce on EFL Insight this weekend. The injection of the Mount Waverley players has done wonders for them so far this season.
Oh, they're a surprise packet, aren't they? And they've been really good their first 2 weeks. So Surrey Park have got a good list, but they just keep letting themselves down by not performing early on in the year. Now, they had a good win last week against Kilsyth, but as we've seen, Kilsyth, they're not travelling all that well. So I don't know how you rate that. I'm going to go Fair Park at Fair Park purely because they're in such good form at the moment, and they're such a high-scoring team at the moment, which has been a real surprise.
I've got Fair Park as the premiership favourites at the moment. You can't get 11 players in and not just be instantly a better side, because at least a few of them are going to be quality. And in these divisions, battle of numbers, the more players you have to contribute at a good standard, the harder you're to beat. So,
and the other thing about that is it's not like they've got 11 players from different clubs. It's 11 players from one club. So they all know each other. It's just, in fact, they've just got to they've got to know fewer players when they come back into the group. So yeah, they've been very, very good.
Davo, the training before round 3, 6 blokes who are on the training track out of the 50 will not get a game in the reserves. And then in the reserves, some guys are looking and going, why aren't I getting a game? That's good. Yep. That's not, how do we keep blokes happy? Is they've got to fight for a game. So that's good.
Yep.
Fair Park in a great position.
Absolutely. And moving on to Nunawading and Forest Hill.
I think this will be closer than everyone gives it credit for. I know Nunawading came back to earth last week against Coldstream, but you've got to remember, Nunawading play at Nunawading. You can fit 3 Nunawading grounds to Coldstream's ground.
Postage stamp.
They are a very good running team, Coldstream, and yes, they gave them a touch-up. Forest Hill have not started off all that well. They're struggling a little bit. They've lost a lot of players. They've gone for youth. It's at Nunawading. For me, it's a toss of the coin, to be honest, but I'm going to go with Forest Hill. I think they might just have a little bit too much class still at the club.
Yeah, if Forest Hill lose, I think Nunawading's improved, but Forest Hill were beating them by 20 goals in recent times. This will be a huge transition in my mindset to talk about Nunawading and Forest Hill if Nunawading win today. You know what I mean? Because Nunawading hadn't got close to Forest Hill, and has Forest Hill dropped off that much? To come back from a 100-point difference, which it was last year, to a competitive game is fantastic, in my opinion. But I find it very hard to tip Nunawading yet. But if they win today, I'll just be transitioning my mindset straight off.
Okay, well that does it. Croydon North, MLOC obviously have the bye in that division. Well, that does it for all 5 divisions across the Eastern Football League this afternoon. We'll take a short break here on SEN 1377, SEN Plus, and right after this we'll be bringing you Division 2 clash between Templestowe and Boronia from Templestowe Reserve. Don't go away.
Super Rugby Live, Waratahs v...
You're clear, 4 minutes.
Thanks, Nigel.
Spend More, Get More is on now at Freedom. Spend $1,000 and get a $150 gift card. Hurry, ends Monday. Spend more, get more. That's Freedom.
Waitley, Monday from 9 on SEN.
Hello. The biggest selling tile in Australia is 600 by 300 gloss white. And National Tiles is by far the biggest seller of these tiles in Australia. Why? It's simple. The average selling price is over $20 per metre, and National Tiles price is just $9.95 every day of the year. That's just one example of National Tiles' absolutely unbeatable everyday low prices on wall and floor tiles. So rush into National Tiles now and save.
What's that, Daddy?
Oh, this is a DAB Plus digital radio. It's for Mother's Day.
What are these?
These are Daddy's awesome new headphones. See? They came free with the radio, but Mum doesn't know.
She does now.
Mum will love a DAB Plus radio. Digital sound, more than 20 extra stations, and with the Pure range, you'll get free Urban Ears wireless headphones worth $150. Worth shouting about. From JB Hi-Fi, Amazon and Myer until May 12.
If you're the guy whose job it is to order timber to the site, here's a fail-safe guide to not getting yourself fired. Step 1. Use Coldstream Timber. Step 2. See Step 1. When you use Coldstream Timber, you'll never run out of timber, because whatever you're building, Coldstream Timber and Hardware can organise same-day delivery of timber, framing, doors, decking, hardware, insulation, flooring and more. You'll never run out of timber with Coldstream Timber and Hardware. Maroondah Highway Coldstream. coldstreamtimber.com.au. Conditions apply.
These undies that I'm holding are no ordinary undies. In fact, they're ovaries. Because on May 8th, World Ovarian Cancer Day, you're going to wear them over your pants. Like a true hero. 100% of the profits will go to Ovarian Cancer Australia to fight Australia's deadliest female cancer. So, start saving lives and buy your ovaries in-store or online today at Bonds or Bras and Things. It's time for overreaction.
Very nice.
These blokes love it when a new car model comes out.
Lovely.
Sure, they like the sleek new lines, but what really gets their engines revving are the filters.
These are beauty.
The guys at Ryco can't wait to make filters for the latest cars. And because they design and test them in Australia, you can rely on your Ryco filters to provide you with genuine performance. So for the widest range of quality filters, insist on Ryco filters, the professional's choice.
Hello, I'm Max for the Family Peace Foundation. I wish Mum and Dad wouldn't drink as much as they do. It's not that they get really drunk. I know they love us all, but it's just not the same when they drink too much.
Coming up to 1 minute.
Thanks, Nigel.
Sometimes it's Dad, and sometimes it's both of them. If only they would try. Our family life would be so much better. Family Peace. Do it for your kids.
Toyota value just keeps going and going. You'll be feeling it with a great deal on the Hilux 4x4 SR5 double cab pickup. And you'll be still feeling it with zero on-road costs. That's free rego, CTP and dealer delivery and no stamp duty. It's all
30 seconds.
Thanks, Nigel. Toyota dealer or search Toyota value. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota. Conditions apply. Offer ends April 30 unless extended.
When you pull your socks up each morning, pull up a pair of all-day socks by Underworks. The cushioned sole is like walking on clouds. Plus, there's no annoying elastic or ugly red mark.
10.
Works. So comfy you'll chuck all your other socks out. Available at all leading retailers.
SEN Footy streaming live and exclusively on the
Here it comes, guys.
SEN app.
Putting your mics on.
Back and go local for your foot.
And go.
And welcome back to EFL Game Day here on SEN 1377, SEN Plus. And we're live at Templestowe Reserve, bringing you the Division 2 clash between Templestowe and Boronia. In the reserves, Boronia got up by 2 points, 6-8-44, defeating Templestowe 6-6-42. So we're just moments away from the centre bounce of Boronia and Templestowe. And gents, we'll get a quick tip from both of you on this game.
Look, I thought it was going to be a pretty close game until I saw the outs for Templestowe, and losing Cripps, losing Pearce and losing Davenport, 3 massive outs for Templestowe. Pretty hard for them to recover from that. Boronia, very experienced. They've played together for a long time. I think they're probably going to get over the line here at Templestowe.
There's a lot of goals out of Templestowe's those outs.
Yep.
So midfield drive as well. So you have to tip Boronia, but maybe Templestowe can hold the game down and just give them, that chance to have a good quarter and finish them off just by persisting physically throughout the day, because they'll find it hard to keep a lid on the scoring power of Boronia.
Oh, without a doubt. Look, and the thing about Boronia is that they're one of those funny sides. You can't name 6 superstars in their side, but they've got a lot of really, really solid depth. Their players play their roles extremely well, and a lot of underrated players. So we talked about Henderson in the ruck, centre forward who can play a little bit in the ruck. Jared Lake at full back. He took a lot of scalps last year and played extremely well. So he's another player. And then the blokes that run through the middle, the Hannons, Robinson. These boys, Rutherford, they could play some really good football. Lockie McKernan, another great player. Looking forward to seeing Harvey Chin. Really impressive group. And as we've seen, they're very, very well coached.
And Boronia's taller and athletic. They have Collins, and you look out at Hannons, they're quite tall, so that means they can take overhead marks just to release play in a different format. They just don't have to get it one way.
Yeah, look, one thing you'll find when you watch them is that their use of the football is very, very good. They run and spread extremely well, but they also make sure that when they bring the ball into their forward line, they press back and defend extremely well too. So they're always hard to beat in transition. Last year in the first final that they played against Scoresby, they got smashed on the inside, really got beaten at the contest. They went out the next week against the same sides, and they took the key. They took Chadwick out of the game, and that changed the whole game, and they got their hands on the footy and away they went. So I would expect them to be pretty tough.
So probably about 2 or 3 minutes away from the centre bounce here at Templestowe Reserve, and don't forget there's 20 games around the Eastern Football League across all 5 divisions as you go local for your footy here on SEN 1377. So a margin from both of you?
Oh, look, it's one of those funny grounds, Templestowe. It's incredibly big, but you don't see a lot of really big scores here.
No.
It's one of those grounds that you can defend quite easily because the pockets are so wide. So you can defend the ground quite easily. I'm looking at Boronia probably 4 or 5 goals, and I would expect that it could be quite close until half time, but I think their class will get over the top of Templestowe.
My opinion on the ground is that it's almost too long for some teams. They go in too deep, and they really short circuit just the way. Sometimes you can get caught out wide, but I think if you go in too long, your forwards just get underneath it, and it's not really conducive to some forwards hitting as a hit-up target. So it's an interesting how it isn't a high-scoring ground. But I think just with the outs, I'm just really disappointed not to see Pearce, Cripps and Davenport. That, for me, personally takes a bit of the joy out of today's game. But I'm looking forward to Boronia, seeing them again after their premiership. And Templestowe, I think their game style stands up with the old Clarkson one. Well, if one's out, one comes in. I think their game plan with DeCourcy will hold up. I just don't think they can defeat Boronia today, though.
Okay, and don't forget tomorrow, EFL Sunday on SEN 1377 from 10 o'clock. You will catch all the scores and some of the coaches, the victorious coaches, of course, from 10 till 12 tomorrow on SEN 1377. You'll also hear the dulcet tones of Gav Casey, I believe.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. What are you talking about, man?
When you say dulcet, I just like, who's he talking about?
I'm trying to make you Damo too.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to do a voice to be like Damo.
And some references from the 1940s as well, I'm sure. But, he is the champion at that. But look, a good game of footy about to get underway here at Templestowe. One of the best grounds, I think, to come out to here in the Eastern Footy League.
It is a great ground. One of the things I've just noticed, Templestowe have come out in the ground. They're extremely tall. They've got a few boys that are taller than I expected. Young Bailey Griffiths is a tall, looks like he could be a ruckman. De Souza from Baldwin from a couple of years ago. He's certainly got some height. They've got a new player in today in Sasha. I'm presuming it's early.
Well, let's get that checked. It's Oerhli.
So I think it's early.
Yeah. We'll
so if it is, he's got a little bit of height about him. So they're actually got a fair bit of height that I was a bit surprised at. So it'll be interesting to see where they play. We obviously know that in the forward line, they've got Daniel Arangio, who kicked all those goals in a few amount of games last year. He really did need to have Cripps there beside him today, but unfortunately Cripps is not there, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes and how Boronia go at shutting him down.
And the coaching battle, we had both coaches on earlier. It's going to be one to watch as well.
Oh, without a doubt. I thought they were both very, very good. They were open with what they were on about and how they go about their coaching. You know that both teams are extremely well drilled and well coached. So, the thing about Boronia last year was they went above and beyond in the way that they analysed opposition and were able to therefore win games that you thought they might not be able to win. I think Craig DeCourcy would do the same sort of thing. I think he'd be looking at the opposition and going, this is how we're going to beat them, and I'll be fascinated to see if it becomes a bit of a chessboard sort of coaching day today.
So we're about to get underway here at Templestowe Reserve, and looks like Templestowe will be kicking towards the, I'm not sure what we're going to call that, the civilian end, the hill end of the ground.
Yep.
But
and is that Porter Street?
Porter Street, yes.
To our left.
So Boronia will be kicking towards the Boronia side of the ground. And to bring us in is Gav Casey.
Boronia v Templestowe. Templestowe at home. Rucks go at it. No clear tap out, so quick kick by Templestowe. Just gets 5 metres, and we'll get another scrimmage for the ball just forward of the centre circle as we get this Division 2 Round 3 game underway. Looking forward to it. McKernan grabs it out of the contest. Quick kick around the corner. Gets it towards Collins, but he sort of overruns it. Allows the opposition in. So Templestowe repel. Go to centre forward. 1v1 over the back. Lodge couldn't take the mark. Ground level ball nearly comes back to Lodge. He goes in again. Quick hands is intercepted by McKernan, who puts it on the boot straight away. And Henderson underneath at the tall takes the mark just backward of centre circle. Quick transition to a runner, but he's run into a brick wall, and Templestowe hold up into the middle as the Hawk player grabbed it on the bounce, but he was bounced straight into the turf, was Chin.
And that's where Rutherford got caught on the rebound there.
So Griffiths wins the tap, ball goes to the deck. Stewart puts it onto the boot for Templestowe up towards centre half forward, one-on-one contest. Boronia have got the run with the footy and they swing it out now here towards centre wing. Trying to get it with one hand, there was Collins. He was met there by Casales. As finally Boronia swing it out now here to Lockie. McKernan puts it onto the right boot just inside the forward 50, but it's all Templestowe and they pump it right back out to centre wing near side of the ground. Good mark taken there by Ugle, and he has it here almost dead on centre wing here for Templestowe near side of the ground. Just chips it in short.
Very laconic.
And puts it up now here to Tim Stewart. He chips it across the centre of the ground now. They have numbers to the Dockers, and taking that one under pressure there was I think Fadenos. And Templestowe have this on the edge of the centre square. Now it goes to Lodge. His kick in towards the half-forward line. A bouncing footy taken well there by Nagel. Spears a short chip pass in, looking in the direction. There it is, Soiser couldn't pick it up on hands and knees. Here's a hand pass out now. Hit a Blake. He gets met solidly. He gets a hand pass away now, and Boronia have numbers around the footy. Doing the roving there is Luke Hannon. He chips it out over the top now, and that's taken by McAlpine. His kick up towards centre wing, intended there for Robertson. It beats him and goes over the boundary line.
Now, I think Ugle in the last contest where he managed to get the ball, he's either hurt his hamstring or his calf, but he is really struggling out there. He only walked to that last contest.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of a calf stretch, didn't it, as he kicked inboard. But again, McKernan, he's dominating out of the stoppages. Another kick forward, this time inside 50, but the spoil comes in for De Souza. Gets it at ground level where he'll have to harass his opponent. Tackle flies in for Malice for Boronia. Keeps it in the area, and Templestowe close to the line. We'll see the relief at half back as a boundary throw in will go. Watch out for McKernan, he's dominating.
Without a doubt, but their delivery inside the 50 has been poor, and Templestowe have been able to repel it pretty easily at this stage.
So Rucks go at it again. Griffiths for Templestowe. It's caught out, but does reach over for the tap. He has got a rover on the ball, so the ball goes out of defensive 50 towards McDowell. He too grabs at it. He sort of spiked it in a spoil and he tapped it down to himself and takes the mark. Does McDowell. Goes out wide to the wing and they'll slow it down through Fadonis.
Fadonis now, his chip up the field, gains about 10 metres. The Dockers trying to flood numbers forward. It's pumped in towards centre half forward. Contested footy. Blake almost took the mark there for the Dockers, but it comes into Boronia hands and they spear it in towards centre half forward, I should say, and a strong mark taken there by Josh Hannon. One half of the Hannon brothers. He centres it in towards the centre of the ground and an easy mark there for Jaden Collins right on the 50. And he's going to back himself, it looks like, and he's going to go and have potentially Boronia's first scoring shot of the afternoon.
You cannot afford to allow either of the Hannons to have ball in hand because you know it's going to hit a target each and every time.
So Collins dead in front, not much of a breeze if any to speak of out here at Templestowe Reserve. Puts it onto the left boot, has it got the carry? No, it's just going to fall just short, but it just trickles over the line and just the minor score. That's the first score of the afternoon. It's Boronia 1 behind, Templestowe yet to score on the Eastland scoreboard.
And it is a true 50 here at Templestowe, so you know, they've really got to make sure they kick it when they're at that line.
The kick out goes long to the ruckman and Griffiths applies himself to the contest. Did well because he was the only tall there for Templestowe. Gets a hand pass out to Lodge. That's a kick close to the line, but he finds the runner in McDowell, who takes a chest mark in the end, tight to the line, and they advance to the wing from the kick out. Another shorts on. Good find there for Ferraro. He looks further afield. Numbers are getting back. Even the man on the mark does his job. Knocks it down, did Henderson. So it's a disputed ball on the wing, but going in again is McDowell. Gets it off to his teammate. Quick kick forward. No clear possession one for Templestowe, and Hannon picks it up in Luke. Quick hand pass goes forward to Hare. And they're off to the races. Boronia, once it bounces into the hands of Mild. Mild goes down the line. Numbers are back for Templestowe. Knocking to the ground was Brown. Got some help from his teammate, who I just got to check my numbers. It's not on my sheet. So Fadonis gets it from centre half back. Looks left. He's only got one player to run onto it, and it's Nagel. He gets onto it now at half back. Runs through the wing. Goes to half forward where Griffiths is under it. Did he get pushed under it? No, says the umpire in a non-decision. So Hannon will help out for the Hawks, but he drops it on getting tackled, and Templestowe hold it in at half forward.
Young Nagel's got a fair bit of toe, and I like Griffiths. I like the ruckman, yes. Griffiths for Templestowe. He looks a likely type.
He's tall and athletic, stood under the ruck contest. Mark not given to the Templestowe player because it went higher than it went longer, but he'll get a free kick, so it'll be to Templestowe. As we search through our numbers, the sheet has changed this morning and we're going to check.
Now Ugle has gone off the ground. He's sitting down. It looks like he's being treated for a hamstring issue.
So in comes the kick towards full forward. It's not taken there by Templestowe. It's loose on the footy. Getting a hand to it there was White for Boronia. It's kicked up towards the half forward line. Trying to take that one there was Lodge. Met solidly, and we've got a free kick here going the way of the Dockers. And not sure who's going to be taking this one. It was originally going to be Callum Bradley, but 6:30 to go here in this first quarter. Just the 1 point now here to Boronia as the kick comes in towards the forward 50. Plenty of players there, but all Boronia, and they had front position there to Jared Lake, and he's going to take it now here for the Hawks. Just inside the back pocket here, far side of the ground out here, Templestowe decides to switch the play across and finds his teammate there in Mild. He's going to go right back into the goal square, kicks it up, gains about 20 metres there to Jared Rutherford, swings around, puts it onto the right boot out to the far side, and the man we were talking about before, Harvey Chin, takes the mark just outside the defensive 50, swings it onto the left now, up towards centre wing. There's all Templestowe at the moment. Coming over the back there was Fitzsimons for the Dockers, couldn't get hands onto it. Robertson can. Boronia paid advantage. No, they are not, but it looks like it's going to be 25. No, it's... not sure what the call is here.
It was holding and he said go back.
Yeah.
Even though Boronia, Davo, do you reckon they elected to play on? Is that...
Yeah, they did. They certainly played. They played advantage then.
So Rapazada has it now here for Boronia. Puts it onto the right for a bit of a mongrel kick, and was intended target there was Mild, but he couldn't take it, but he does now at the edge of the centre square. Kicks it up towards the half forward line. All Boronia, bounces over the head there of his compatriot there. Good tackle applied by Dower after he missed the footy initially. It goes by hand to Mellis, and away come the Hawks in towards the forward 50, and a strong mark taken there by Zach Robinson. And on the tightest of angles, hugging the boundary line 50 out. It looks like he's going to back himself as well. And he's going to try his luck to get to Boronia's first major of the afternoon.
He certainly had no intention of passing that ball off. He had probably 4 or 5 players that got in really good positions. He said, no, I'm going to have a crack.
Well, he puts it on to the right. Has it got the journey? No, it just touched on the line, I believe. No, it's just gone over. Well, Templestowe had a number of their tools right on the goal line, and the goal umpire says it did have the travel. 1-1-17 Boronia, lead Templestowe yet to score here on the Eastland scoreboard.
He kicked the ball. If you remember, Eccles used to play here for Templestowe, and he's one of the few players I've ever seen kick goals where if he was 30 out, he kicked the ball 32. If he was 40 out, he kicked it 42.
Yeah.
That boy there, he's kicked it as if he knew exactly the distance that he had.
Let's go to Barry Cotts around the grounds of the Score Centre.
Yes, good afternoon, gentlemen. Yes, in Division 2, a big game, Heathmont and Mitcham out at Walker Park. Yes, Heathmont leading 2 goals straight 12 to Mitcham, no score.
Ugle comes onto the ball as Templestowe won it out of the middle, but numbers now get on Ugle, who hand passes it in front of himself. He's almost falling over his legs with 4 chasing him. Where's the support? It's slow to come, but eventually Templestowe gets some assistance through Zukovic. And Ugle, well, I reckon he feigned fumbling it because he knew he had nothing to do once he got the ball because he would have been besieged.
Tell you what, though, it certainly was a test for that sore hamstring, wasn't it? He was buffeted there for 20 metres.
So it's a ball in. The Templestowe ruckman seemed to tackle his opposite number but wins the free kick. I saw it the opposite way, but it's going to go to McDowell, who must have been shrugged off and was holding on for dear life in that he was falling to the ground. So McDowell will get the free kick from 50 and he's backing himself. Or at least he's going to put it... It's interesting, he's going to find a lead or put it in from a patch 15 out. Or he's just going to try his best with the left foot. Gets as much leverage as he can, gets close to the man on the mark, doesn't get the distance, it's easily punched, and it's gone over for Rutherford. Concedes the first score for Templestowe. They are 1 point trailing Boronia 1-1-7. 10 minutes gone, first term on the Eastland scoreboard.
So to bring the footy back in now here for Boronia is Godwin. His kick now out towards the half-back line, and Robinson's come a long way down the ground. He takes a pretty comfortable mark there for the Hawks, as they have a 1-goal margin. 1-1-7 plays 1 behind. Here's the kick up towards the Robertson direction, taken almost there by Hare. Couldn't get to the ground to get the ball. Lodge has it now here for Templestowe, forced out over the line there by Hannon, and we'll have another ball up.
That's a very good clearance from a full-back there. They've had 1.5 kicks, has got them down to their half-forward line, so that's great clearance from Boronia.
So 11 minutes gone here in this first term. Into the ruck now comes Early versus Henderson. Give that one to Early. Picked up off the boot, swung on the boot there by Collins inside the forward 50. Tried to go there to Robertson. He's met solidly. Tried to get the hands out there looking for Henderson. It's Robertson with a great second effort. It's chipped over the top, but going back with a flight is De Souza, and his switching kick now comes across to his teammate here in Brown. Brown decides to take a bounce, looks upfield for targets, hasn't got one, but he's finally found one in Lodge. Didn't take it. Oh, it did apparently, according to the umpire. And he's just going to have a kick now on the half-back flank here for the Dockers. Short chip pass was a dangerous one. And met by 2 tacklers there was Callum Bradley. And the umpire says, give it to me. Well, it was a dangerous kick and an indecisive kick, I thought.
Yeah, and he claimed being chopped, but he wasn't chopped at all.
Let's go to Barry Cotts at the Score Centre.
Yeah, quickly, Division 3, Donvale jumped out of the blocks first quarter. Donvale 4-2-26 to Churnside Park, 1 behind 1 point. And Waverley Blues 1 goal straight 6 to South Belgrave, no score.
So Bowes gained some territory with just some rugged movement from the stoppage, and it eventually gets bundled out of bounds. But they've got inside 50 now, have Boronia. Lead by 6 points with 1 goal to Robertson from the boundary line. So we're 12 minutes into this round 3 game. As Rapisada just rolls himself through the contest after Ruckman cleared the space, but he gets tackled to the ground straight away by Casalaz. Again, going in there was Stewart, and he gets taken high.
So 54 is worthy. So
Stewart did well, took the high tackle, now just sets himself with a long kick down the line. Getting underneath it was McDowell and Lodge for Templestowe, but out the back was Wilson, but the umpires pulled up Templestowe and the free kick. It goes to Rutherford. What was that for, Davo?
That was for a shepherding out in the contest.
Robertson got it in the middle on the bounce, so it had to hand pass back to a defender. The short pass into the centre of Templestowe has found Collins, who now looks at his options. They seem to be all covered. The umpire says hurry up and play on, so he dodges around the man on mark, and Stewart kicks it long where Templestowe have got the numbers, and one of them takes a very casual mark, was early, just fell into his lap as he fended off his opponent. His short pass is a dangerous one. McDowell had the fist come over his shoulder, and it's gone to ground level where Chin's a runner. Left foot, left boundary, puts it into hot spot, but it's all Templestowe to get back, and it's another mark for De Souza.
So De Souza switches the play, goes over to Alex Brown, puts it onto the right up towards centre half back. Easy mark taken there by Tim Stewart, almost in dead centre of the ground. And he surveys the scene, a crowded scene up there in the centre of the square, so he decides to go out to the far side of the ground, centre wing, and a mark taken out there by Daniel Orangio, wearing number 19 today. Kicks this one up onto the left boot, onto the half forward flank. It goes and sits pretty easily there for Joseph Ugle. He sells a bit of candy, runs inside 50, puts it onto the right boot, in towards a vacant centre square, going back with a flight, and a great mark taken there by Nick Worthing. And he's going to line up from about 15 out, tightest of angles, and look for Templestowe's first major of the afternoon.
Yeah, it was a good play, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Good play by Ugle, managed to sell some candy, and they kicked this goal. It means it's been great transition football from the back half.
So Worthing plays on quickly. Tried to snap it around the body, but just hit the woodwork, and he gets the second minor score of the afternoon for Templestowe. They are two behind, trailing Boronia at 1-1-7, 15 minutes played on the Eastland scoreboard.
It's always... Go on.
One of the things that they would be happy with Templestowe is they've not allowed Boronia to get any of their run and carry.
So Godwin marks the kick out, but if that's where it stopped for Boronia, he's in the back pocket looking at options. So he's going to go down the line, but the man on the mark was on his job and smothers it. But again, it comes back to Godwin, and he takes the dodging to good effect, finds some open space, but another grubber can't get to Malice. So Templestowe, Wilson was besieged, and he got taken high, maybe by one or two, but in the end he was holding the ball against.
I think that's a bit tough, to be quite honest. He picked that ball up and didn't have anywhere to go, but good tackling. But this is where they've just been stopped. Templestowe have done a great job zoning back.
Long down the line do Boronia go. The numbers from defence is good for Boronia, but Hannon at ground level nearly claims it, but it's Lodge for Templestowe who gets it. Just bundles the ball forward. McDowell just spikes it down, but not to himself, and he gets his opponent when he didn't have it. And Henderson didn't know much about the contest, but got the free kick for McDowell tackling him without it. So it's Henderson now with the ball, kicks it long. So they've been really consistent, and it's probably too predictable, Boronia, and the spoil comes in, knocks it out of the bounds, and Templestowe rezone at halfback.
They've brought that ball in high and shallow nearly every time, and they've been able to defend easily. They've got to lower their eyes and maybe short pass it in.
Let's go to Barry Cotts in the Score Centre.
Yeah, Division 3, Donvale 4-3-27 to Chirnside Park 1-2-8, and Waverley Blues and South Belgrave 1-1-7 apiece.
Thanks, Barry, as that one goes back out over the boundary line, just right in front of us here, near side of the ground. 1-1-7 plays two behinds out here at Templestowe Reserve. The Hawks and Dockers in Division 2 here on EFL Game Day on SEN 1377. In comes the throw. Taken away almost there by Callum Bradley. He manages to get it out to Worthing. His hand pass over the top now finds Casales. His kick in towards full forward now here for the Dockers. It's a fisted ball. Brandlin's going back now here for Boronia with Ugle in pursuit. Ugle runs him down, but he manages to get the hand pass away now here to Lake, and his kick up towards the half-back flank. It's fallen right into the hands of Fadenos, and wasn't able to take it cleanly before it traversed the boundary line, and we're going to have a boundary throw-in.
He wouldn't in AFL get away with just frustratingly kicking it into the fence after he dropped the mark.
No, that would have been a free.
So in comes the boundary throw right on half forward now here for the Dockers. Griffiths wins. He almost won the tap. Hannon came over the top and took it, but Griffiths took the handball away. Here's the kick in towards the forward line now here for the Dockers. It comes in loose. Trying to take it there was Ferraro. His hand goes onto the deck. Good tackle applied by Ugle. I think he may have won himself a free kick. No, he's been the offender on that occasion. I thought that was a good tackle. Play continues. Boronia's free now. They kick it out towards the edge of the centre square, going back with the flight. Here are the Hawks, and a good mark taken there eventually by Godwin. Swings around, put a little chip pass in towards Rapisada. Couldn't take it on the bounce, neither could Hannon, but the Hawks still have it now here through McAlpine. He puts his kick up in towards the Robinson direction. Couldn't take the mark. It's loose on the deck. Shaking one tackle there was Hare. He manages to get it further forward, but it's all Dockers at the back, taken away by Zukowicz, and out towards the half back line now here for the Dockers, and they steady the ship and they bring it right back, and a strong mark taken at the back now here by Luke Fitzsimons. Sorry, excuse me, that's De Soiza, and his kick now travels right back out towards the inside of the defensive 50 now here for Templestowe as we approach time on here in this first term. 18 and a half gone, 5 points the difference here in this Division 2 clash. Griffiths went for the fly there for the Dockers, but Hannon has it now here for Boronia. Cues it by quick hands up now here to Millen. His kick, it goes well astray and out of bounds. And we're going to have boundary throw-in, I believe. Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, Premier Division, Balwyn and North Ringwood. It's Balwyn 3-2-20 leading North Ringwood 1 goal straight 6.
Thanks, Barry.
So Templestowe set up a great brick wall. Hannon there just ran forward and then got lost in not knowing where to go next, and Millen just rushed the kick, and Templestowe win a free kick out of the contest. It'll go to the ruckman at Griffiths. And before the game, the coach of Boronia, Matt Clark, said they'll kick backwards if they have to, Templestowe, so he's spotted that nicely. They've already done it once, but there's a short kick. They're mucking around Templestowe on the last line. Boronia are rushing them, but they can't get the ball off, and eventually a short pass finds its target to Decala, 40 metres out from his own goal. So he's looking at options. It's very stagnant around the ground from both sides. They're just playing one-on-ones now, and well, there was a holding whistle, and it'll go to Boronia as Blake ran on to take the mark as everyone was standing still, but it'll go back to Fairchild, who was being held away from the contest. Fairchild goes across the field, dangerous but could be very good as Hare takes the mark, but he's stopped in his tracks, and he's going to see a lot of purple in his defensive 50. He's called a play on because he took too long assessing options, runs around the man on the mark as he got rushed, but his kick rushed off the right boot and Rapisada can't keep it in. And there's a bit of a pattern starting to emerge here as Templestowe get numbers behind the ball.
There were 30 players in the Templestowe forward 50 then. Sorry, in the Boronia forward 50. 30 players.
No wonder they didn't know where to go next.
So here comes the boundary throw. Griffiths taps it on. Collins looks for it now. On the deck is Fitzsimons for Templestowe, but Robertson gets it out by hand. Rapisada had to perform a bit of a juggling act as Fadenos sees it over the boundary line, and we'll go in for the boundary throw. Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yep, Division 1 and the Basin 1-8 lead Ringwood 1 goal straight 6, and also at Bayswater Oval. It's Bayswater just in front at the moment, about 10-6.
Thanks, Barry. As the Dockers now trying to break out of their half-back line. A hand pass comes out now here to Ferraro. His kick up towards centre wing. It's a 2-on-2, but it's going to go well over the boundary line. It's out of bounds on the full.
There's been no fluency from either side at the moment. It's been when they've decided to run and lower their eyes, they've looked good. As soon as they've gone back and kicked long, both sides have looked poor.
It looked like it was touched off the boot before that went out of bounds. So here's a boundary throw in dead on centre wing. Hannon missed the tap. The ball goes to ground level, shoveled out now here by Templestowe, taken quickly there by Ferraro, swung it well onto the right boot, but again his kick just dribbles out over the boundary line, about 15 metres gained towards the half-forward line here for the Dockers. Let's go to Barry Cotts again in the score centre.
Yeah, just a further update to that game. Bayswater 2-14 leading Knox, 1 goal straight 6.
Thanks, Baz. There's Hannon to do the ruck here against Griffiths, that being Josh Hannon. Griffiths wins the tap. It's the ball on the deck, a bit of tunnel ball action. Fadenos racing back here for Templestowe, going to run out of real estate as he's got Mellis right on his hand. It gets a quick right out there, spoiled over the top. Millen takes it by hand and shovels that over the top. Taken back now by Hannon. Quick hand passes here from the Hawks. Great tackle applied there by De Soiza. Ran his man down, but in the back, said the umpire. And winning a free kick there is Jake Mellis for Boronia.
I just realised we shouldn't be umpires, Steve. We've called against the umpire all day so far. But anyway, that was a...
Must be my -3 prescription.
The kick goes long down the line. Templestowe set up with numbers and an uncontested mark. Even though it was spilled, goes to Templestowe. Oh, that's a bit of rush pressure on Ferraro. Spills the ball at centre half back. So Hannon gets onto it, that being Josh that time, but his kick was smothered because, of course, Templestowe have got a lot there in defence, and they jump on the ball. The umpire doesn't penalise Templestowe in giving the ball back, so it'll be a ball up 50 out from Boronia's goals. Griffiths in the front position wins the tap down, and it's a maul of players around the ball, and it'll be another ball up just where it was only a second ago.
There's been very few clean possessions in the game at this stage. Very pack-driven and a lot of hard contests.
Well, even McKernan struggled to distract at that time. Ugle could a good hand in at ground level, and it spilled out Templestowe's way, and Wilson's the outlying kicker as he gets on the run from half-back, puts it in front of Ugle, he's outplayed there in one-on-one, and it was great work there by McAlpine, and he rushes off and kicks it to Collins, who stands up at 50 in the left flank as Boronia look to add to their only one goal so far in this term. Oh, well, slipping the defender. Good mark for Hannon. And it's Luke Hannon this time. We always have to clarify which Hannon it is. But Luke Hannon just lost his opponent as the ball just got put in front of him 40 metres out, and he took the mark in front of his eyes.
I think Collins has been very good for him in that forward half. He just hasn't had the targets to hit, but Hannon worked very, very hard to get front position and played well to take that mark.
He's a midfielder that can kick goals, 28 last year, as he puts it straight and long from 50, gets the journey, gets the straightness that he required, and Boronia score their second, 2-1-13, leading by 11 points on the Eastland scoreboard as we're in time on first term.
That was all started by McAlpin, and the way that he won the ball against Ugle, which was really nice, brought it into Collins. Collins waited, allowed the forward to make the lead. Nice ball in front of him, and Hannon finished the good work off from defence.
Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Premier Division and Bourne and North Ringwood. Bourne 27 to North Ringwood 6, 20-minute mark first quarter.
Thanks, Baz. It's 2-1-13, plays 2 points as with 25 minutes played out here at Templestowe Reserve. Griffiths wins the tap, and Stewart wins it off the ruck and puts it onto the right boot in towards the forward line now here for the Dockers. It goes to deck. No one can get a clean touch until Godwin arrived and got a handball out right into Lake, who was well met there by Templestowe defenders, and we'll have ball up. That was Daniel Arangio laying the tackle there, wearing 19 today instead of his usual 43. Here's the tap now. Over the top goes Henderson. Winning the footy there was White for Boronia. His kick is going to almost go into the hands of Craig DeCourcy there on the Templestowe interchange. That's out of bounds on the full. So a free kick on the far side here for the Dockers. And Fadenos is going to bring it back in now here for Templestowe. He puts a chip kick in, but beaten by the quarter-time siren. And after one quarter of play, it's Boronia 2-1-13, leading Templestowe 2 behinds. Goals to Zach Robinson and Luke Hannon for the Hawks. Gentlemen, how do we see that?
Well, pretty scrappy game of football, this one at this stage. Both defences are on top. The ball's not being delivered into either of the forward lines well. Both midfields have been, I think they're probably 50-50. I have enjoyed watching the young Griffiths in the ruck. I think he's got a bit of a future, and he's been quite good, but really I suppose Boronia have taken their opportunities. They've had 2 nice goals kicked from one from the boundary and one from 50 out. At this stage, I can't remember Templestowe taking a mark inside their forward 50 yet, so that would be a concern for Craig DeCourcy.
Indeed. We'll take a short break here on EFL Game Day on SEN 1377 SEN Plus, and we'll be back right after this.
Hi, it's Tim Watson. The all-new SEN app is here. Update now or download today.
Getting a decent and intelligent tip.
And you're clear, we've got 4 minutes.
Thanks, Nigel. So when you're ready to play ball.
Question for you guys. Anyone there?
PA and more sent directly to your phone or email, including exact...
Quick question for you guys. Can you hear me?
And documented 24/7. Visit GS.
Hello.
Yes, Nigel.
Walking.
Yeah, do you guys want
to exercise? But until they're 10, children must all adults hand when crossing the road.
From Channel 9?
Stand away.
National Walk
Hang on a second, I'll check. Don't worry about it.
All the way, combine a walk with public transport. If you must use a car, leave
Nigel, don't worry about Channel 9.
And walk the rest of the way.
And remember, active kids are smarter kids.
Find us at walk.com.au, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter.
Toyota value just keeps going and going. You'll be feeling it with a great deal on the Hilux 4x4 SR5 double cab pickup, and you'll be still feeling it with zero on-road costs. That's free rego, CTP and dealer delivery, and no stamp duty. It's all possible with the unbreakable Hilux. See your local Toyota dealer or search Toyota value. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota. Conditions apply. Offer ends April 30 unless extended.
At Melbourne Airport, you can get 1 hour terminal parking for just $12. It makes it easy to greet your loved ones when they come home or give them a proper send-off. You can also park for up to 3 hours for just $24 and 1 day for $51. That's cheaper than a taxi to and from the city. For warmer welcomes, proper goodbyes and everything in between, Melbourne Airport Parking is here to get you there. Visit melbourneairport.com.au.
Hello, I'm Max for the Family Peace Foundation.
Sorry, I didn't hear any response before. It was very soft. Did you want Clint Stanaway at half-time?
No, we don't.
I know they love us.
All right, thank you for that.
Saying when they drink too much. Sometimes it's Mum, sometimes it's Dad, and sometimes it's both of them. If only they would try. Our family life would be so much better. Family Peace. Do it for your kids.
Who can cater your corporate event or party with a taste that will keep your guests happy and chatty? Suverman can! Everybody loves a traditional souvlaki or banquet, and who can do them perfectly? Suverman can! Suverman can come to you with his lamb and chicken charcoal spit and please any crowd of any size. Vegetarian, gluten-free, Suverman still can! So wherever you are in Melbourne, whenever you need something different and delicious, who can cater like no other man can? Suverman can! Suverman.com.au.
It's Tyre Power's massive Easter sale with more great deals on big brand tyres. At Tyre Power, you'll get the power of our giant giveaway on Toyo tyres. Simply buy 3 and we'll give you 1 free on a great range.
You're going to reset that clock, Lee?
And SUV tyres. That's right. Buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Toyo tyres at Tyre Power. Conditions apply. See website or in-store for details. Tyre Power's massive Easter sale is now on. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local owner operator.
Very nice.
These blokes love it when a new car model comes out.
Lovely.
Sure, they like the sleek new lines, but what really gets their engines revving are the filters.
These are beauty.
The guys at Ryco can't wait to make filters for the latest cars. And because they design and test them in Australia, you can rely on your Ryco filters to provide you with genuine performance. So for the widest range of quality filters, insist on Ryco filters, the professional's choice.
Kevin Bartlett here. Your new SEN app is here. Catch up on all your favourite show podcasts. Download today.
Here we go.
Let's head back and go.
Okay, coming up to it now. 5 seconds. Putting your mic on now.
Don't worry about Stanaway at half-time.
And welcome back to EFL Game Day here on SEN 1377 SEN Plus. We're out of Templestowe Reserve. We're after 1 quarter of footy. Boronia 2-1-13 leading Templestowe. 2 behinds. Goal kickers for Boronia. Luke Hannon with 1 and Zach Robinson with 1. And for more scores around the Eastern Football League, let's go over to Barry Cotts in the Score Centre.
Yes, we certainly can. And firstly, we take a look at Division 3, and Waverley Blues 117 to South Belgrade 117. Churnside Park and Donvale 4-3-27 to Churnside Park 1-8. And also in Division 4, East Burwood 7-9-51 to Kilsyth 2 behinds 2 points. And there's current scores at the moment. They'll be rolling in very shortly for the quarter-time break.
Ooh, not good for Kilsyth so early in the game there. But Davo, we talked a little bit about the first quarter. Your thoughts coming into the second quarter footy out here at Templestowe?
Well, you'd hope that one of these sides has eventually got to start to realise that to get movement here, you've got to run from defence. You've got to make sure that you link up a little bit more, lower the eyes. Don't bomb into the forward half, because both defences have been pretty strong in being able to counteract the high ball coming into the forward half. I think the midfields have broken even. I wouldn't have thought that either side would be on top with regards to clearances. Be interested to see and hear what the coaches may have said at quarter time. I would think that Andy Clark would be pretty disappointed with the fact that they just didn't use the ball as well as what they could. And it'd be interesting to see what Craig thought of the fact that I think Templestowe would be reasonably happy with clogging the ball up the way they did.
And man that was in the huddle at quarter time is Gav Casey.
Yeah, I was interested in Templestowe because they've obviously got a clear game plan. They're getting numbers behind the ball, but they want to. What De Courcy was happy for the Dockers was they've won plus 10 in the clearances. They've won the inside 50s 10-9, but they got hurt on turnovers, so they've got to keep more composed when they're kicking with the lateral kicks, and he'd rather go into space and lock it in when they're going forward because they're outnumbered.
So as we get underway here against for quarter number 2, it's Templestowe surging forward now here through Zukowicz. Can't get a clean touch. His opposite number in terms of the reverse on the jersey there. Rapazada gets it away. Henderson dropped that one. Good tackle applied there by Early. And he's going to take the free here on the edge of the centre square here for the Dockers. Plays on quickly, kicks towards centre wing, and a good mark taken by Bradley. Looks upfield and puts it onto the right boot in towards the centre half forward position. At the front, good jukes there from Ollie Lodge. And he's about 55 from home. Kicks it in now here from the edge of the centre square. Looking for the lead there of Arangio, and pushed out to the umpire. And Arangio is going to have a kick now from about 35-40 out. And first real opportunity for a major here for Templestowe.
It was a semi-tunnel, I suppose you'd nearly call it, but only very, very slight. But I'll tell you what, Lodge has been good. He's used the ball well when he's had it.
So Arangio, huge run up. He's going to kick from probably about now 40 metres. He puts it onto the left. It's a searing kick. It's a beautiful kick. And it's the first major of the afternoon here for the Dockers. They move to 1-2-8, trailing Boronia 2-1-13. 1.5 minutes gone here on the Eastland scoreboard in this second term.
Yeah, look, great use of the left foot there. He certainly knows the area. He's a good goal kicker, this boy. He's a bit of a danger up forward because he can take a mark, and that's a good goal for Templestowe and well worth it.
Well, there's a little bit of a wind going to the Porter Street end, so Templestowe will want to get a bit deeper. They were going in too shallow in the first term, was one of De Courcy's criticism of his team. But they're winning around the contest, and they're in the ruck. But that's a kick backwards from Stewart. It will be a mark to his teammate if it's called, but not 15. Stewart has to go back in again, the middle of Templestowe. His hand pass was rushed, so it's a turnover ball as Boronia go inside 50 for the first time in the second term. Tackled again, Hannon holding the ball. And that's a huge tackle again by Templestowe in defence as Luke Hannon gives it up to his opponent in Casalas. He gets a short pass and it's another target hit, and this is what they want to do. Templestowe, Bradley's got it. They want to hold until they can set up forward because they've set up so much of a zone that they need to get numbers forward. Ugle roves the pack, quick hand pass inboard. They're off and racing now. Arangio on the lead, just spills it but gets onto his left, centres the ball. Big one-on-one contest. Boronia stand up as Dower couldn't take Dower did well, and Boronia clear to White at half back. He looks right, then goes left, inboard he goes. Short pass was a spearing ball to Millen, who now runs through the centre circle and kicks long to 1v3, and of course Templestowe have got the numbers. Very late was Bowles, who's now playing out of the goal square this term, but it will be De Souza who picks himself up after being bumped after he took the mark. Surprising there's no penalty getting him upfield. Short pass was good, gets it to Zukowicz, who gets it off to the runner in Brown. Brown from the back of the square gets a long transitional ball to the right half forward flank, and Lodge runs into the mark on the outer side. He's going to slow it down just a tad, goes along the boundary line, and Arangio was outnumbered as a Boronia defender got in the way, and Mild sees it over the line. So it's a boundary throw in 50 metres around from Templestowe's goal.
Using the ball much better, Templestowe. They'd be really disappointed in Boronia with that last kick inside 50. It was quite poor. Again, just a long bomb.
5 points to margin. Solo tap there for Henderson, unchallenged at the ruck, with the Dockers have it. Casalas with a little chip over the top, but straight down the throat there of Lake for Boronia, and danger averted there for the Hawks as they look to move this out of their back line. Collins has it now, puts it onto the left into a contested footy. Rapazada, after it went over the head there of Robertson, took a pretty good mark, and now he kicks up now here towards centre wing, and Hannon has it now for the Hawks. He switches around and puts it onto the right boot up towards the half-forward line. It's a 1v1. Robinson couldn't win that contest as players pile in. Good tackle applied by Robertson. And, well, he's the offender on that occasion as he's put it up high. And Templestowe will move this out of their back line. They switch the play now here to Alex Brown. Took the mark and plays on, puts it onto the right in towards the centre of the ground, but straight into the waiting arms there of Ryan White from the Hawks, dead centre of the ground, and costly turnover there for the Dockers.
And that's what, of course, he was unhappy about, that sort of turnover.
Well, then a poor kick. Well, they avert the danger there. Dylan Dower gets it out quickly to Millen, shakes one tackle, puts a short little chip pass and finds Robertson now here for the Hawks, about 55, 60 from home, as he's looking for options. And he chips it in short. Turned it straight over there to Ugle. And, well, he had about 3 players in the goal square, but decided to go on short. And Ugle's got the mark here just outside his own defensive 50. Well, played on. Well, that's it. told to play on now. His kick, well, it was intended there for Stewart, but it was spoiled, but it doesn't matter as Templestowe, well, I thought they were going to have it there, and it comes back to Millen. And now Robinson and the umpires... Well, he said it was too high on the fend off there from Robinson. And free kick going the way here at Templestowe to Jesse Wilson. Just on the edge of the centre square. Kicks it up now in towards the half-forward flank. It's just short of its target. It's going to bounce there. Well taken here by McAlpine. He gets the hands out there to Godwin. That was Collins, excuse me. His handball over the top. McAlpine goes in for a second bite. Great tackle applied there. The umpire says, give it to me. And a good minute of play there from Brenton McAlpine.
Just that last kick is hurting Templestowe at the moment, isn't it? Just that last kick into the forward 50's been a bit clumsy.
Griffiths, blonde hair, he'll win a lot of votes this year in the ruck as he taps it down. Stewart gets on the end of a hand pass from the clearance and he puts it towards, well, Arangio is there, but it gets short of him and it finds McDowell. It goes to Arangio. They've been conscious of the spearhead and he just misses the target, did McDowell. And Arangio has to sort of shepherd the ball when he's been harassed by many defenders, and it's a turnover to Boronia as the numbers win out. On the bounce, Collins just overruns it and it goes out of bounds on the wing. Just the passing to Arangio hasn't hit the target so far.
Not only that, it's becoming too obvious. They're not even looking at anyone else. They're just going to him at absolutely every opportunity.
So Griffiths will set himself. Josh Hannon will try to get over the top. He does win the tap from behind, but it falls to Vadonis, who just takes on all tacklers. Maybe took it too high and he rushed a hand pass 10 metres forward to no one in particular, and Boronia get the ball back. Their kick in the middle's a hopeful one and it didn't fall their way as Templestowe get the kick. Zukowicz, who gets it long down the line, nearly a mark inside 50, but it's a ground ball that needs to be fought for. McKernan falls on the ball and his opponent falls on him, so luckily enough McKernan wins the free kick for Boronia.
So Lockie McKernan will go back and take this from centre half back. 5 points to margins, nearly 8 minutes played here in this second term. Easy mark there for Collins, gain of about 20 metres.
The one hand hold of the ball, yeah. That's impressive.
Kicks it up now here to centre wing. Mellis takes the mark here for Boronia, plays on, quick chip on there here, finds Millen in the yellow boots. And he chips this one in turn over the top, and Boronia, good possession footy here, moving ever so slightly upfield. Collins kicks it now in towards the half-forward line, and De Souza with an uncontested mark. And well, all that build-up was wasted there for the Hawks as the Dockers go back to go forwards. Here's Alex Brown, had a few touches this quarter. Robinson on the mark.
Again, it was that kick in the air, wasn't it?
Yep. As Stewart takes the mark now, about 40 metres. Oh, he shanked that kick. And going to get to it first there. Here is Fitzsimons. He's cleaned up, but a hand pass there from Lodge. And the Dockers just moved this one out over the top, but out over the boundary line it goes. And we'll have a boundary throw-in right in front of us here. Let's go to Barry Cox in the score centre.
Yeah, let's look at Premier Division and Vermont and Montrose, a low-scoring game. Montrose 1-3-9 to Vermont 1-1-7. Doncaster and Rowville 3-3-21 to 1 goal straight 6 Doncaster. Bourne 4-5-29 to North Ringwood 1-2-8.
Thanks, Barry. Here's the hand pass now. Finds Hare. His kick onto the left was a short one. Couldn't take it there, could Collins. Millen couldn't gather it in, but he's going to get it on the second go. Evade to tackle the Fadenos. Puts it onto the left boot in towards a vacant goal square, and it's going to bounce to the right. And just the minor score there for Templestowe. for the Hawks. 2-2-14. They lead Templestowe 1-2-8. Let's quickly go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yes, Division 1, East Ringwood and Lilydale. It's Lilydale 2-5-17 to East Ringwood 2-3-15. Bayswater is trailing Knox 5-4-34 to Bayswater 4-4-28.
Fitzsimons takes the mark on defensive 50 from the kick out, so that was a good hit up. Left back flank. He's now kicking from set position. Down the line he goes, roving it to Stewart. Gets on the ball, but he just had to hold for a second. Tackles come onto him, but his hand pass into open space was good to a teammate. And the kick goes down the line by Bradley, and he just gained some territories. McDowell escorted out the line. 50 metres around from Templestowe's goal. They've gone from full back to half forward as we get more scores around the EFL.
Yeah, Division 1, 1 Turners South Upper Ferntree Gully. 1 Turners South 5-1-31 to Upper Ferntree Gully 4-1-25.
Ruck contest, 60 out. Griffiths just, instead of punching it, he takes it in his grasp, gives it to Stewart, who puts a long ball into the pocket, 2v1. Boronia take it out of bounds. Good work by Lake as the defender, but he had some support.
I'll tell you what, this young Stewart has been very, very impressive. He's quick, skillful. He's probably had about 4 clearances himself this quarter, and Craig DeCourcy said to watch out for him. He's certainly got some talent.
So it's a boundary throw in near the point post. Hannon comes in late to win it towards McKernan, but he left it behind. Can Templestowe manufacture a shot? It was offline, and McDowell's kick went out of bounds on the full from the left pocket, as we'll have a relieving kick for Boronia and more scores from Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, Division 2, Mitcham and Heathmont. It's Heathmont 5-8-38 leading Mitcham 2-1-13.
Thanks, Barry. Some interesting scores coming around from around the league. McAlpine takes it now, pumps it onto the left. Now contest, Hannon v Griffiths go both 5 for coming in from the side there to affect the spoil. I think that was Lodge over the top, and we'll have a boundary throw. It's actually Sam Casalis with the fist over the boundary line.
Well, you'd say Templestowe have had the quarter so far, haven't they? They've had it all on their own terms. They just haven't been able to hit the scoreboard for all their hard work at this stage.
Ball's only been inside Boronia 50, I think, 2 or 3 times this quarter. So 11.5 played. Griffiths tried to win the hit out. It's loose on the deck. Griffiths now will get the footy and get tackled there by Hannon. Well, they had a few goes at it, and the umpire says, yes, you threw it. And Hannon will take it now. That's the Josh variety here for Boronia on his own defensive 50. His kick was a poor one, and Stewart almost chopped it off. It's kept alive now here by Ryan White. He dropped the footy. Stewart again, the man of the moment, puts it onto the right boot inside the forward 50. But it spills now here to Orangio. Snaps around the body, and he's going to dribble it through. That's a contender for the Tobin brothers goal of the day. And Templestowe draw level. It is 2-2-14 apiece. 12 minutes gone here on the Eastland scoreboard.
Well, that was great play by Stewart. It was Jared Lake's drop mark there. You would never see him drop those sorts of marks, so it might have just been perceived pressure there, and a great snap goal.
Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yes, more scores from Division 2, Ringwood and the Basin. The Basin 3-5-23 to Ringwood 2-3-15. Boronia early score 2-1-13, lead Templestowe 2 behinds 2 points.
One thing about going to Ranjo a lot, it puts pressure onto Lake, and he always was now as the full back going, well, my man's the target, and he's probably got a bit of that in his head as Templestowe win another centre. Clearance, ground level ball nearly taken by Lodge. Hand passes in front of Arangio in the pocket. Can't claim it, and Lake does well. Pushes off his opponent, and he gets it to Rapasado at half back, who's got another short on. So Collins has got it at half back, and Boronia, they're very much just stop prop kicks at the moment. Another short on will find his teammate it's Malice. Thanks for that, Steve, helping me out there. Malice gets it long down there. Oh, that's a good mark. Not claimed for Boronia. As the umpire said, the spoil came in just in the nick of time, as Henderson might have been robbed of another kick.
My prescription isn't as bad as I thought it was.
I tell you what, Collins has worked well up and down the ground, hasn't he? Gets a lot of ball for a forward down on the half back line.
That whistle was a ruck infringement, and Templestowe are quick to play on. They'll go long down the line, and they did gain some good territory, and they're hugging the boundary line, and that wins out, as we'll get more scores around the EFL with Barry Cotts.
Yes, let's turn our attention to Division 3, Waving Blues and South Belgrave. It was South Belgrave 3-2-20, Waving Blues 2-2-14. Warrandyte 2-2-14 to Whitehorse Pinehouse 1-4-10. Churnside Park, Donvale 4-3-27. Churnside Park 1-2-8.
It's not high scores, generally speaking. and definitely not a high score here. We've got 2 goals apiece halfway through this second term of the round 3 game. It's the all locked up at 2-2 apiece, Templestowe and Boronia. Templestowe have got the territorial advantage this quarter as they're at half forward, but Henderson claims it out of the ruck contest, takes it on the ball, gets some help there from a teammate, and they're often racing up Boronia through the middle of Templestowe reserve on the bounce. It couldn't get to Robinson. He gets on the ball, but he has to go sideways, and he finds Hare just to take the mark 50 metres out. Probably beyond him in distance as he looks for a short pass to Robertson. Now goes out to the pocket. On the bounce, the ball doesn't quite get to Malice, and it's the defenders getting the ball off him through Nagel. Nagel just puts a ball in saying, come to me with it, and McDowell does reward the kick and takes it another short on, finds his teammate in Ferraro.
Tell you what, I've been impressed with Templestowe. They've been really good this quarter.
Now goes down the line where the setup is Hannon to come in, drifting in from the side and takes the mark at half back, and he'll get it going the other way. He's got an inboard kick. It's a dangerous one, but it finds the runner and his Chin. Chin gets it off to another teammate on the gallop in white. He has to go wide at a Rapisada, but it's slowed up in that hand pass, missing the target. But Chin's on the overlap. Overlaps into half forward. Now looks to spear a ball into the forward line, but Brown gets in front, and he spoils with one hand and brings it into the chest with the other. And it was a nice mark as an intercept.
Alex Brown been one of the best up the back there for Templestowe so far this quarter. Here's a good short chip, finds Ugle. As we thought he was injured in the first minute of the game. He seems to be okay so far. Here's short chip pass, good spoil over the top by White. It matters not as it falls to Bradley. He puts it onto the right boot, up and towards the forward line. The target there was McDowell, and he takes the mark just inside the 50. And looks like he's going to back himself too, and he's going to go back and have a pop from about 45 on a tightest of angles here for the Dockers. This to put them in front.
Well, that was one of the few times they've been able to go long and high, but only to a one-on-one. They've not been a pack situation. So this will be interesting to see. He's certainly confident being able to get it the distance.
Here's Kieran McDowell, swings it onto the left. Has it got the journey? No, just to the near side, and just the minor score. So that will put Templestowe up by the slimmest of margins. It's 2-3-15, Boronia 2-2-14. 16 and a half gone on the Eastland scoreboard as we go to Barry Cotts for more scores from the Score Centre.
Yeah, let's look at Division 4, East Burwood, Kilsyth. East Burwood 7-9-51 to Kilsyth 2 behind 2 points. And Forest Hill 3-3-21 lead Nuttawading 2-2-14.
So Robertson took the mark as they surged out of defence, Boronia, but having the ball having to be retrieved for him after the pack knocked it off his hands has slowed it down for Boronia. Left flank he goes, and Robertson couldn't run into the ball before it goes out of bounds for a boundary throw in 65 metres around from Boronia's goals.
That's been the problem for Boronia. Their movement into the forward line has just been slow and static the entire time.
Bit of a wrestle in the ruck contest. Henderson might have had a fistful of his opponent's jumper, but not penalised. Ugle run onto it. He doesn't just claim it, but he's got some help. Stewart, of course, is the man for Templestowe. Grabs it and bundles it forward. It's a 2v2, but Boronia, with some smart play from McAlpine, gets it out wide onto the runner and Hare. But Hare doesn't win the race as the ball goes out of bounds on the wing.
Johnny just got that one.
As it'll be more scores around the Eastern Footy League with the Score Centre.
Yeah, Premier Division, Bourne 36 lead, North Ringwood 14. 10-minute mark, second quarter.
Better late than never, Gav.
Well, I always say my jokes are better late than never. But, we try our best. It's now a scrimmage as Boronia are doing the tackling and Templestowe are just marching the ball as far as they can as Wilson just skirts forward after being tackled to go to full forward area as they do a bit of an interchange of players in this big ruck contest because there's about 10 of each side surrounding them, and Stewart was first around the ball but it did drift off the pack and out of bounds, so it'll be a boundary throw in half forward for Templestowe.
So 1 point the margin as we approach time on here in this second quarter of footy out of Templestowe Reserve. Division 2 here on EFL Game Day, SCN 1377. Bursting through the pack now. Here is Millen for Boronia. He kicks it up towards the half-forward line. Fitzsimons is there for Templestowe. Turned it straight over though, is Boronia, but they get it back to Soiser. Good hand pass. Templestowe here swings this one across the back line in towards the safe hands here of Brown. Had a good game. Kicks it in towards the centre of the ground. Was intended there for Worthing. It bounced over his head. And it comes around towards the deck. Casala's got a good hand pass out now here to Fadenus. Comes up now, back now, hit a Lodge. And he puts it in towards the forward line, but reading that one brilliantly was Jake Godwin. And he's going to take it now here for the Hawks. Well, went one way, went the other. Ugel's going to run him down, has to force him into a handball, panic handball. Taking a heavy hit there was Dower as he tried to get the footy away. And a ball up will ensue on 55 metres out from the Templestowe goal. Bit of a meal of that one, Davo.
Yeah, and Templestowe's pressure around the contest has just been too good for Boronia at the moment, and they're just rushing and panicking when they have the footy, Boronia. Very un-Boronia-like, this performance.
So the ball trickles out for a boundary throw-in.
Steve, hold on to your team sheet. The wind's getting up. It's
I have to hold on to my toupee as well. Huh? So there's this one thrown in. You can see Stewart and Bowes there tangling. Henderson over the top. Didn't get pinged that time. He got been pinged a couple of times for that. As the ball trickles out here towards the edge of the centre square. Diving in there is Mellis for Boronia. As is Stadenos. He's on the bottom of that. As Casalis for the Dockers will have a ball up. So we're into time on now here. Henderson took it with two hands right off the deck. Taken by McKernan, and he's met pretty solidly. But he's got a free kick as it looked like it was in the back. McKernan takes it now here for Boronia. Short chip pass was well read there by Blake. It trickles past him, but Blake's going to get a second bite at it. Turns the corner, puts it onto the right boot. And it's chopped off. Well read there here by the Hawks. They're going to have possession here through Millen. Millen's brilliantly run down there by Fadenos. And he's won himself a free kick. Good tackle there by Harris Fadenos. And he takes it now here for the Dockers. Puts it onto the right boot up towards the centre edge of the centre wing area. Henderson uncontested mark just inside the boundary line. Doing the rucking duties this afternoon. His short chip pass intended there for Robertson. Dropped what he probably should have taken. Got the hand pass out to Collins. And now on to McKernan. Little grubber of a kick finds Bowes. Did well to grab that on one bounce. Puts it onto the right. Short probing kick now. Unable to take that one cleanly. There was Ferraro. And on the bottom of that pack is Dower, and will have a ball up.
You'd nearly say that they were playing that Port Adelaide dirty ball sort of kicking, but I think they're not trying to do it.
I don't think, of course, he would have liked Fadonis' kick there. It was not what he wanted. He wants short passes when in doubt. But Boronia in the forward line claim it off the pack, and Chin gets the quick roving ball and from 30 metres out puts it over his shoulder and through the middle. And that is against the run of play. But Boronia back in front by 5 points. 3-2-20, leading Templestowe 2-3-15.
Yeah, it just wasn't defended well enough. Then it was an opportunity to bring the ball down to ground. Missed the ball for the Templestowe defender, and Chin was a good bit of play on his wrong side to kick the goal. And you're right, completely against the style of play, because Templestowe have controlled the game this quarter.
Let's go to Barry Cotts in the School Centre.
Division 3, Donvale 12-10-82 to Churnside Park 3-2-20, and the Waverley Blues 5-2-32 lead South Belgrade 4-4-28.
Thanks, Baz. Ugle wins the centre clearance. His kick travels about 20 metres straight up and under. And roving that one there was Godwin for the Hawks. His hand pass over the top finds Mellis. Back to Godwin and now into Collins. Collins goes back to Godwin. He's run about 30 metres. He puts this onto the right boot inside the 50. And it's all Templestowe at the back. And cancelling that out was Joel DeCarla for the Dockers. And he switches the play. And it looks like Templestowe are going to go towards the near side of the ground now. 5 points the margin. Here's the kick up towards centre wing, and well read there by Chin, the goal scorer from just a minute ago. He's got plenty of options in the centre of the ground. Robertson calling for it, evades him, kicks it in towards the centre of the ground in centre half forward, and Collins takes the mark here for Boronia. Oh, he's almost got told to play on, I thought there, but now he finally is. He puts it onto his left, in towards the contest, and going back with it was Hannon, couldn't take it cleanly. Ran down there was Waters. It's kicked up now and picked up by Nagel, puts it onto the right, and an uncontested footy there for Blake on the far side of the ground on the half-back flank here for the Dockers.
I'm just wondering if the breeze out there is causing problems, because neither side's able to really deliver the ball into the forward line well at all.
This is a long, high ball. Henderson was the tallest one, but he spilled it in the contest. Ground level ball. Boronia got some numbers, and the kick from the middle goes out wide to Chin. Chin will run from right half back. Puts his left boot into it, spears a ball, just caresses it towards the leading option in white. Ground level ball though now, and Templestowe gets some numbers back. Nagel just couldn't get his hands on it, but he gets some territory by knocking it forward with Chin right on his shoulder. and they both see it over. Centre wing of Templestowe Reserve, and it's not normally on this side all day so far, but this is where we're broadcasting from as we have a ball in. 24 minutes gone, second term. It might be a short quarter, so Rapasada running onto it might just try to get a quick inside 50, but he's been wrapped up in a tackle, and it was a great tackle applied by Zukowicz. 3-2-20, Boronia leading by 5 points, Templestowe 2-3-15, 25 minutes gone, second term on the Eastland scoreboard. It was 13 played 2 at quarter time, so Templestowe have won the score in this term. Rucks will go again at half forward. Henderson jumps early, and ground level McKernan, he's first to read it, but taking on the tackler, Stewart gets rewarded with holding the ball. So it'll be a free kick to Templestowe, but look at all the numbers of Boronia and Templestowe players get back. It'll be interesting what the next play will be, as Stewart has to wait for the ball to come back to him. He's got a couple of short options, but if he goes long down the line, he'll be hoping for Griffiths to take the mark, and the ball's yet to get back to him at half back. So it's a long stop in play. Griffiths leads into the wing where it's some open space, gets to him on the bounce, but he tries to dodge before he got the ball, so he left it behind. Turnover ball, Malice swings a hand pass in the middle, dangerous as it turns over to Casales, gets it off to Brown on the run, through the middle of the ground, he kicks it to the running option in Arangio on the lead, just on the bounce, it didn't get to him, but he's got some help, and now Templestowe go to the inside 50 where they've got free numbers, and Ferraro has taken the mark in the open space, and there is the siren. It is a short quarter, and Templestowe will get the last shot at goal, and they may lead at half time.
Yeah, look, and if they do kick the goal, they've deserved it this quarter. They've been the better side, moved the ball better. This is not an easy shot, but let's see if he can actually connect well.
Not much of an angle. He'll skip through the 50, then he'll put a ball with some wind behind him. He puts it to the teeth of the goals. The defence is there, and they just knock it. It hits the behind post, so that's no score conceded. At half time, it's Templestowe at home, 2-3-15, trailing the visitors, Boronia 3-2-20 on the Eastland scoreboard.
Single goal kickers for Boronia, Luke Hannon with 1, Harvey Chim with 1, Zach Robinson with 1, Daniel Arangio has 2 for the Dockers. We'll take a short break here on EFL Game Day, SEN 1377, and we'll be back with all the action again here on EFL Game Day.
Breakfast.
And you're clear, 4 minutes.
Thanks, Nigel. The road to victory is hard, with plenty of obstacles to overcome before you can move forward. The team at Kubota Construction Equipment have the power and skills you need to tackle any opposition on the toughest ground. Excavators that'll move heaven and earth for the goals. Powerful skid steers and track loaders that can carry the weight and deliver the wins. Build your road to victory at kubota.com.au. Kubota, proud broadcast sponsors of the Melbourne Victory.
It's Tyre Power's massive Easter sale with more great deals on big brand tyres. At Tyre Power, you'll get the power of our giant giveaway on Toyo tyres. Simply buy 3 and we'll give you 1 free on a great range of Toyo passenger car and SUV tyres. That's right, buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Toyo tyres at Tyre Power. Conditions apply. See website or in-store for details. Tyre Power's massive Easter sale is now on. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local owner operator.
Who can cater your corporate event or party with a taste that will keep your guests happy and chatty? Suvaman can! Everybody loves a traditional souvlaki or banquet, and who can do them perfectly? Suvaman can! Suvaman can come to you with his lamb and chicken charcoal spit and please any crowd of any size. Vegetarian? Gluten-free? Suvaman still can! So wherever you are in Melbourne, whenever you need something different and delicious, who can cater like no other man can? Suvaman can! Suvaman.com.au.
These undies that I'm holding are no ordinary undies. In fact, they're ovaries. Because on May 8th, World Ovarian Cancer Day, you're going to wear them over your pants. Like a true hero. 100% of the profits will go to Ovarian Cancer Australia to fight Australia's deadliest female cancer. So, start saving lives and buy your ovaries in-store or online today at Bonds or Bras and Things. It's time for ovary action.
At Melbourne Airport, you can get 1 hour terminal parking for just $12. It makes it easy to greet your loved ones when they come home or give them a proper send-off. You can also park for up to 3 hours for just $24 and 1 day for $51. That's cheaper than a taxi to and from the city. For warmer welcomes, proper goodbyes and everything in between, Melbourne Airport Parking is here to get you there. Visit melbourneairport.com.au.
Very nice.
These blokes love it when a new car model comes out.
Lovely.
Sure, they like the sleek new lines, but what really gets their engines revving are the filters.
He's a beauty.
The guys at Ryco can't wait to make filters for the latest cars. And because they design and test them in Australia, you can rely on your Ryco filters to provide you with genuine performance. So for the widest range of quality filters, insist on Ryco filters, the professional's choice.
Toyota value just keeps going and going. You'll be feeling it with the Hilux Workmate 4x2 single cab chassis. From $23,990 drive away for the petrol manual. And you'll be still feeling it with a turbo diesel manual from just $27,990 drive away. Now's the time to awaken your unbreakable with Hilux. See your local Toyota dealer or search Toyota value. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota. Conditions apply. Offer ends April 30 unless extended.
Hello, I'm Max for the Family Peace Foundation.
30 seconds.
As much as they do. It's not that they get really drunk. I know they love us all, but it's just not the same when they drink too much. Sometimes it's mum, sometimes it's dad, and sometimes it's both of them. If only they would try.
10.
So much better. Family Peace. Do it for your kids.
Waitley, Monday from 9 on SEN.
Your mic back on.
And go local.
Thanks, good night.
footy.
And go for it.
And welcome back to EFL Game Day here on SEN 1377 SEN Plus. At half-time out here at Templestowe Reserve between Boronia and Templestowe in Division 2. It's Boronia 3-2-20 leading Templestowe 2-3-15. Goal kickers for Boronia, Zach Robinson with 1, Harvey Chim with 1 and Luke Hannon with 1, and 2 goals to Daniel Arangio for Templestowe. And let's go over to Barry Cotts with all the halftime scores from around the EFL.
We certainly can do that. So firstly to Premier Division, a few games being played, a few games of interest this afternoon. And we look at Doncaster and Rowville, and it's a very low scoring game indeed. Rowville 3-3-21 to Doncaster 1 goal straight 6 coming up to half time. Some games are running behind us this afternoon here at Templestowe Reserve, so these are almost half time scores. Bourne 6-7-43 to North Ringwood 3-9-27 to Division 1. And Bayswater and Knox, interesting game. Bayswater just ahead 6-5-41 to Knox 5-4-34. Upper Finchley Galley 4-1-25 to 1 Turner South 5-1-31 in Division 1. Turning our attention to Division 2 and the big game out at Walker Park. And I have to say, I drove past Walker Park coming here today and there was a huge crowd out there. Cars everywhere. Very, very big game indeed. A lot of interest between Mitcham and Heathmont, and the score currently is Mitcham 8-4-52 to Heathmont 7-4-46. Ringwood and the Basin, and it's the Basin 4-6-30 to Ringwood 2-3-15. Waverley Blues 7-2-44 to South Belgrave 5-7-37. Warrandyte 6-7-43 to Whitehorse Pioneers 2-6-18. Churnside Park and Donvale well ahead 13-10-88 to Churnside Park 3-2-20. And Division 4 East Burwood 7-9-51 to Kilsyth 2 behinds 2 points. We'll have an update on that score a little bit later on. And Nuttawading and Forest Hill, close game. Forest Hill 3-3-21 to Nuttawading 2-2-14. Now, you sceptics saying Nuttawading would get another flogging today, but it doesn't seem the case at this early stage.
Well, it won't be Davo, I'm sure. But no, some very interesting scores. Thanks, Baz, and they'll keep them coming in throughout this afternoon across all 20 games being played across all 5 divisions of the EFL. And don't forget, tomorrow from 10 o'clock on EFL Sunday, 1377 SEN, we'll have a chat with some at least of the winning coaches and all the breakdown from all the results around the EFL. Now, Davo, turning our attention to this game, your thoughts on that second quarter?
Well, look, I thought the football was better. I thought Templestowe controlled the ball well. They lowered their eyes, they shortened their kicks. They seemed to control the ball well, getting it inside their forward 50. They were a little bit Arangio-centric, I suppose. They just constantly put the ball to him, but having said that, he's kicked a couple of goals. I just thought they used the ball a little bit better. They turned it over a couple of times in their back half late, which would have upset Craig DeCourcy, but I thought there was a good quarter of football for them. Boronia have just played a funny game. They were pretty ordinary in the first quarter, but got a couple of goals. And that quarter, I thought they moved the ball from defence to just short of half forward quite well. I thought they lowered their eyes. They had some nice short kicks, nice handballs. But once they got it within 60 metres, they just kept kicking it long again into no man's land, and I thought the Templestowe defence worked really well, particularly Brown.
Yeah,
he was excellent. He sagged off his opponent well and managed to read the ball and drove it out of defence well. So, all in all, I think Templestowe deserve to be in front, even though they're not. I think they've played the better football over the whole half. You would think, and by looking and hearing of the scores around the grounds, you'd think it was a howling breeze or else it was very wet. And yet we've got beautiful conditions, a little bit of a breeze, but teams are just struggling to score by the look of it today. And maybe we'll see it open up after half time. But I think Maddie would be very, very disappointed. Matty Clark would be very, very disappointed with the way Boronia have played this first half of footy, because they've had none of the run, none of the flair, haven't used the ball well, certainly haven't used it well into their forward 50, so they've got a lot to work on at half time.
And I've been really impressed. We mentioned him a couple of times, or probably more than a few times in the play-by-play, but Tim Stewart for Templestowe.
Oh, excellent, wasn't he? That was a quality quarter. He got in and under in the contest. He also broke lines, used the ball well, got a nice turn of speed, so he's certainly an impressive young man. And again, I still thought that even though he made a few mistakes, young Bailey Griffiths shows something in the ruck. He's up against a good player in Henderson, but I thought he was a pretty good player in the ruck.
I think, I know Boronia, they are still in front, but they have been a bit haphazard in their back line. McAlpine and McKernan I've been pretty impressed with so far.
Without a doubt, and we talked about the fact that there've been a couple of times where they've really used the ball well and got it out. And as I said, I thought Collins worked his way up the ground and became that link man really, really well. I think there was 2 or 3 times where he took a mark on the half-back flank, passed it off, and then he took a mark on the half-forward line as well in that same piece of play. He's done well. It's just been that last kick into the forward 50 that's been so disappointing, and especially when they've gone back and gone for the slow play, they've really run out of ideas, and that's probably because of Templestowe's fantastic work back into the defensive half. They've pushed themselves up and down the ground extremely well, Templestowe. Been very impressed with them.
And let's quickly cross to Barry Cots in the Score Centre. Score update, Barry.
Yes, coming up towards half-time other games. Just to remind you that we're running ahead a lot of games today here at Templestowe. In Premier Division, Roval and Doncaster, you'll be having a bit of an interest in this one, Brett. At half-time, Roval 5-6-36 to Doncaster 3-3-21. So Doncaster able to kick a couple of goals in that second quarter. North Ringwood and Bourne 7-7-49 to North Ringwood 6-4-40. In Division 1, Bayswater 6-5-41 to Knox 5-4-34. And finally in Division 1, Wanturna South and Upper Ferntree Gully, Wanturna South 7-7-49 to Upper Ferntree Gully 5-2-32.
Some close ones.
Yeah,
the Baldwin score is probably the most interesting of those, I'd say.
Yeah, a lot of good close games. So we've got a close one here as well. So only 5 points in it. So that's the beauty of these low scores, is that this quarter becomes incredibly important. If a team can come out and get a bit of a break and get a surge of 3 or 4 quick goals, well, it might open up the game completely. Otherwise, if we have a game similar to what we had in the first half, we could end up with a 7-goal game wins the game, which is something that would be a bit interesting.
So we'll take a short break here on EFL Game Day. It's half-time between Boronia and Templestowe out here at Templestowe Reserve. We'll be back with the rest of the action right after this.
Super Rugby Live, Waratahs v Sharks.
You're clear, 4 minutes.
Thanks, Nigel.
G'day. Here's a slightly intelligent way to get all the latest tips for worldwide soccer. Just jump on a plane to England, grab a cab from the airport to the nearest pub, find a group of likely looking blokes and listen in. Then rush to a bookie to get your bets on. Or there's the global sports intelligence way, where you just sit at home and get all the latest market updates on your PC, phone or pad. For the best tips on worldwide soccer, baseball, NBA and more, visit gsitips.com.au. Intelligent, easy. Gamble responsibly.
Look, there's no easy way to do this, but I can't work here anymore. You know I love it here. In fact, you're the reason I've stayed here so long. It's just the time has come. I have got to get home for dinner.
Hate saying goodbye to your radio? Download Radio app on your phone and take your favourite station anywhere. Radio app, free from the App Store and Google Play.
R-O-B-O-T, robot building supplies.
One could argue that a head coach will never be replaced by a robot. Then again,
Do something, don't think, do.
Robot Building Supplies has everything. Steel, sleepers, wire mesh.
Robots got it.
Roofing and timber.
Robots got it.
Be the winning team on site. For your building supplies, order at robotbuildingsupplies.com.au or call 1300-GO-ROBOT. You'll speak with a real human.
R-O-B-O-T, robot building supplies.
Who can cater your corporate event or party with a taste that will keep your guests happy and chatty? Suverman can! Everybody loves a traditional souvlaki or banquet, and who can do them perfectly? Suverman can! Suverman can come to you with his lamb and chicken charcoal spit and please any crowd of any size. Vegetarian? Gluten-free? Suverman still can! So wherever you are in Melbourne, whenever you need something different and delicious, who can cater like no other man can? Suverman can! Suverman.com.au.
Very nice.
These blokes love it when a new car model comes out.
Lovely.
Sure, they like the sleek new lines, but what really gets their engines revving are the filters.
These are beauty.
The guys at Ryco can't wait to make filters for the latest cars. And because they design and test them in Australia, you can rely on your Ryco filters to provide you with genuine performance. So for the widest range of quality filters, insist on Ryco filters, the professional's choice.
Hello, I'm Max for the Family Peace Foundation. I wish Mum and Dad wouldn't drink as much as they do. It's not that they get really drunk. I know they love us all, but it's just not the same when they drink too much. Sometimes it's Mum, sometimes it's Dad, and sometimes it's both of them. If only they would try. Our family life would be so much better. Family Peace. Do it for your kids.
Walking regularly to school is a great way to exercise, but until they're 10, children must always hold an adult's hand when crossing the road. Friday, 17th of May is National Walk Safely to School Day. If you can't walk all the way, combine a walk with public transport. If you must use a car, leave it a good distance from school and walk the rest of the way.
And remember, active kids are smarter kids.
Find us at walk.com.au, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter.
It's time.
All right, guys, 30 seconds.
Easter sale with more great deals on big brand tyres at Tyre.
30 seconds.
Thanks, Nigel.
Giveaway on Toyo tyres. Simply buy 3 and we'll give you 1 free on a great range of Toyo passenger car and SUV tyres. That's right, buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Toyo tyres at Tyre Power. Conditions apply. See website or in-store for details. Tyre Power's massive Easter sale is now
10
on.
seconds.
Visit tyrepower.com.au or call
5 seconds.
Radar.
SEN Footy streaming live and exclusively on the all-new SEN app.
Okay, putting your mics on now. And go for it.
And welcome back here to EFL Game Day on SEN 1377 SEN Plus. We're at Templestowe Reserve for the game between Templestowe and Boronia, where it's Boronia 3-2-20 over Templestowe 2-3-15. Third quarter of action about to get underway as all 20 games across the EFL this afternoon as you go local for your footy. Some very interesting scores coming in. Barry Cotts will keep you updated for the rest of this afternoon across the Score Centre as those scores come in. And don't forget tomorrow, 10 a.m. on SEN 1377. EFL Game Day. We'll break down all the results and speak to a few of the coaches for you. So, gents, what are we looking for in this third quarter?
I'd like the game to open up a little bit, like the skills to improve, and I'd like to see them hit the scoreboard a little bit more, I suppose.
Yeah.
The best way of looking at it. But yeah, it's been an interesting game, but I just want it to be a little bit more free-flowing.
Here's Gav Casey.
I think if you're setting up game plans, it's only when tiring players it might break down. It's McKernan again, claims it from the centre of Templestowe Oval, and he puts it in front of his teammate in Malice, who takes it on the 50. Wheels onto his right, he's got a leading option. Robinson, he just got away from him on his left, had to stretch, and he spilled it to ground. And Templestowe's numbers pushing the back maybe. And Templestowe will get the free kick. It was just the signal confused me there for a second, but very theatrical umpire, as getting up with the ball is Stewart, and Stewart kicks it out wide to the wing for Templestowe, but Hannon claims the ball on the wing, gets it to Henderson. Henderson looks at his option, 40 out, but the only one is the number 40 for Templestowe in Fitzsimons, who goes wide, laterally goes Hare for a good switch. Now they're running from back through Brown. Brown gets it long to the wing. The one has to stand under Wilson. He wasn't the high marker, so he allowed Godwin to come in. He spilled the mark to ground level, and thankfully for Templestowe, it's out of bounds on centre wing.
Well, that first entry into 50 for Templestowe, for Boronia, they actually lowered their eyes with a short then, which was something that they'd not done all game.
So in comes the boundary throw. Henderson versus Griffiths. Griffiths will get the tap there. Here's Ugle. Ball goes to the ground. Hannon dives in there for Boronia. As players converge, and I think this is going straight back into the umpire's hands. It is, and we'll have a ball up dead on centre wing. So 5 points the margin, 3-2-20, leading Boronia lead Templestowe 2-3-15. Here's the ball up. Griffiths wins the tap again, getting the better of the ruck duel this afternoon. A quick kick around the body from Fairchild, up and under. Didn't travel the required distance. It's rowed beautifully there by Collins, who puts it in towards the forward 50. Fitzsimons comes across at the spoil there. Falls to Robertson for Boronia. Quick hands there by White. Back to Robertson. Puts it onto the right boot. And he's just sprayed it wide for the minus score. And that takes Boronia to 3-3-21, leading Templestowe 2-3-15. 2 minutes gone on the Eastland scoreboard.
They really needed to nail that one. I didn't think it was too hard a kick, so he had plenty of time. But they used the ball a little bit better in the forward 50 again. So that's something I'm sure that Matty Clark has had a chat to him at half time about.
Nagel runs out of full back and kicks it long to Griffiths, who sets himself and takes the mark over Henderson. So it's centre half back. Templestowe have got it. The ruckman dodges Henderson on the mark because he got too close to him. Had to. Gives it to Stewart, who has to run backwards to get some space. Gives it to Fodonis, who has to go wide to the boundary line, but he finds some space and gives it to Zukowicz, who goes long down the line. It's a good hit up in the end, as not Lodge. Ollie Lodge runs into it from 80, loads up a long ball. Aranja in back position, comes in with a bit of a spoiled ground level ball for Granlund. He gets it inboard, but it might just set for Lodge to take it. But luckily for Boronia, there's a free kick back where the kick came from in Granlund, and it's a free kick down the ground to Rutherford. Disappointing for Templestowe not to have the turnover.
So Hannon starts out now from inside his defensive 50. His kick up towards is a long one, almost 45-50 on the journey. Brown 1v1 with White, and White tried to tap that one forward. Players converge. Fadenos tries to burst through the pack. Got two players to beat, and going straight back into the umpire's hands is the ball. No, the umpire said you held on to it, as Lockie McKernan wins himself a free kick dead on centre wing. He puts it onto the right boot into the forward 50. Robertson at the fly, couldn't take it, and looks like he shoved his man out in Brown. He did, and Alex Brown going to have the free kick here for Templestowe. He's up there in the votes for mine in terms of best on ground is Alex Brown.
Been very good, hasn't he?
Yeah. Short kick off the right. Finds Zukowicz at centre half back now. Here for the Dockers. They switch the play and come down the flank now. Here's Wilson. Jesse Wilson's kick up towards centre wing. It's a one-on-one. Godwin got beaten to the footy there by Ferraro. Runs onto it. Goes by hand to Ugle. He goes onto the right in towards the lead of Arangio. Good at spoil there. Oh, chopping the hands, I think. As Jared Lake's given away the free kick, and Arangio is going to take the free from about 35 out, hugging the boundary line, and a chance to get his and Templestowe's third.
Yeah, look, I think he's a bit lucky, to be honest. That it was a good defensive piece of play, but...
And Delwelly's kicked it out on the full, and he decided to play on and snap around the body, and nil score. So it remains 3-3-21, Templestowe 2-3-15.
That's disappointing because he's on his left side.
Yeah.
So he should have been able to go back, because it opens up just in that pocket there.
McAlpine just runs down and is allowed to go long to Robinson. Just drops it as he gets over his opponent. But ground ball, Templestowe claim. And it's holding the ball because he was going nowhere. And lucky enough, Chin gets rewarded with holding the ball. I suppose you got to award non-effort versus effort, and it's Boronia getting the ball from half-back. Robertson gets underneath it. He can't take the mark, but ground level ball was Boronia's, but their kick's been chopped off by the zone getting back. Brown takes the mark at centre half-back, look to play on quickly, but decides just to hold for a second. Short pass is good to Blake at the back of the square. Blake looks at another short. It's a dinky one. It might be too short. Lucky the only one looking was the Templestowe teammate, and it's marked by Worthing. Worthing's got another short. They're steady, they're composed, and now it's in the hands of Casalis. He looks for another short. To the flank they finally go on the bounce. It doesn't get to the teammate, so Dockers, they cough it up. In there is ball on Hare, but he gets a hand pass as he's tackled, and the runner was Millen. Gets it long down the line. Punch comes in. Whoever's car's that's in a bit of trouble as the punch goes over the line and out of bounds.
So DeCarla almost upped that man's insurance premiums, I'm sure.
If you own a white Hilux, and maybe they're playing, but yeah, no windscreen broken or anything, don't worry.
Toyota unbreakable. Well, looked like there's a bit of a mark. But anyway, 6.5 gone here in this third term. 6 points the margin. Boronia over Templestowe. And in comes the boundary throw. Henderson v Griffiths. Give that one to Griffiths. It's roved brilliantly there by Millen. Back to Henderson. He goes by hand now. He to his teammate Hare, and he's off to the races. A short chip past the target, Robinson. And he takes a comfortable mark inside the 50. Decides... well, initially looked like he was going to go short for a teammate, but he's going to back himself here, and right on the boundary line, he's going to pump this one in for a scoring shot.
He got it the other side, didn't he?
He did, and he certainly backs himself from these areas, doesn't he?
So Robinson already got one this afternoon, which was centimetre perfect. He puts this one on to the right. It's not going to get the required distance. Players fly, and it trickles over the line just for the minor score for Boronia. That takes them to 3-4-22. They lead Templestowe 2-3-15. 7 minutes gone on the Eastland scoreboard.
A couple of Templestowe players down, and that was just great play from Henderson when he went up. Then he just said, well, I'll bring the ball down the ground, I'll take everyone out with me.
Yeah, if you're not going to win the ball, win the wrestle or the fight. And it's a kick wide, but Zukowicz was just inside the boundary line as he marked the kick in. So he goes long to Griffiths, who's usually reliable, but Henderson found him in the best position as the ball wobbled around in the air, and Henderson will reload from 60. Another inside 50 for Boronia, who are getting on top in territory this term. Long ball, Pack rides in, but it's Templestowe at ground level. Kick out goes to the wall of Boronia, who is set up on the arc, but it's close to the line, and Templestowe might be thankful if it goes out of bounds. Couldn't be kept in by Bowles. Well, it's out in the full. I didn't see how that happened. Bowles quickly plays in, goes in board, got a short on Fairchild. Fairchild goes to the other side of the ground, but nearly intercepted, does get it to Dower. Dower goes quickly, but he doesn't direct his kick to anyone in particular, and Templestowe take the relieving mark through De Soiza.
So De Soiza's kick finds a teammate here in Stewart, who has been absolutely prolific here for the Dockers this afternoon. Hasn't got much on offer. He's always shanked the kick a little bit. It's picked up there by Wilson, but he's harassed there by Hare. He gets a hand pass out now here to his teammate Bose, but it falls to Rapazada. He puts it onto the right boot into vacant territory, but underneath it, Boronia have got themselves a mark, and going back with a flight there was Lockie McKernan, and he's going to take a kick now here from about 45 out.
He's certainly a solid character, isn't he? You're not going to knock him off his line, and he's been good around the contest during the day today.
So McKernan, this for potentially Boronia's fourth. It is a beautiful kick. It splits the sticks, and that takes Boronia now to 4-4-28. They lead Templestowe 2-3-15. 9 minutes gone in this third term on the Eastland scoreboard.
And they've worked the ball into their forward 50 a lot better this quarter. They've chipped it around, then tried to go across goal to the open, we call it the old fat side. They've gone to that fat side area and had leads into there a number of times. So you're certainly playing much better. Templestowe have had the ball a lot, just turned it over at crucial positions.
Back in the middle of Templestowe reserve, Ruck's going at it. Early goes in and follows up his own ruck contest, takes it at centre half forward, gets tackled and dispossessed. The ground level Worthing tries to get it forward for Templestowe, but Boronia are good in defence and they hold up as the ball was just bundled without possession, disposal should I say. But they get inside 50, do Templestowe. Griffiths might have been grabbed as he went for the ruck contest. Ground level ball, huge pack of players around it. Quick kick out by Boronia, but it goes in the middle of the ground where it's claimed by Templestowe. Inside 50, nearly marked. Free kick because it wasn't, and Lodge will get the free kick at the 50-metre mark. He was pushed off the ball as he went for the mark. As the kick flew in from Zukowicz, who set up in the centre circle to claim it.
He's been good, Zukowicz, this quarter. He's had a lot of good possessions from that half-back area.
So Lodge, has he got the distance in him? 50 metres out, maybe a small win just to hold it up. It's very optimistic, I would suggest, for him to goal this. Maybe he should put it in a spot where they can mark it 15 out. But he'll go for the journey, puts it as long as he can, drops short by at least 5. Flyer comes in. Aranjo doesn't even get near it, but it's still at ground level where the player Bradley's got it. Goes backwards to keep possession, and Fadonis has got it 50 out, or just inside, and he'll have a shot from left flank. He looks inboard. He's not going to, well, he now is going to test his leg, but he hands it off to a runner. Maybe there is, through Nagel, the journey in his leg, but he pulls it as he tries to go long, and it's out in the full for no score. So Templestowe remain on 2-3-15, trailing by 13 as Boronia lead 4-4-28 on the Eastland scoreboard.
That was a poor option. Into the breeze, long. Didn't need to do that. They needed to try and set up the short.
Lake's kick. Oh, brilliant mark by Brown at the back. He gets a quick handball out and he takes the handball in return. Brown runs inside 50, puts it onto the right boot. Deserved a goal, just got a point. Great play there by Alex Brown, and just a minor score there for Templestowe. 2-4-16, trailing Boronia 4-4-28. And, well, looks like it's going to be Godwin to bring the footy back in now here for Boronia. Just plays on, puts it onto the right up towards the half-forward flank for Templestowe. As that will taken there beautifully by Collins. He pumps a handball out, finds Rapazada, couldn't take it on the first bounce, does on the second. Puts it up now here towards the centre wing area. Target was Robertson, he couldn't take the mark. Shakes 2 tackles, gets his handball away, straight to Gonzalez of Templestowe. And his short chip passing towards the centre of the ground. Finds a teammate there in Zukowicz. Switches the play now here to Wilson at the edge of the centre square on the near side of the ground. Hasn't got much on offer, so decides to go back from where he came from. And Templestowe have the footy now. Here through Waters, his kick up towards Nagel in the half-back flank, up towards centre wing. The kick was just short of Alex Brown and it dribbles out for a boundary throw-in.
They're the ones that hurt. You know, he had no pressure at all. 20-metre kick, had to hit the target then.
So it's outer side of Templestowe reserve. Rucks go out at the wind, just drifting it a little bit in the air. Stewart's first to read it off hands, runs backwards to get a hand pass to Brown, who runs onto his right foot, hooks it back, and luckily enough he finds a teammate. So a bit of fortune in that quick kick, but on the wing it's with the Dockers. Long kick forward by Lodge. Lodge gets it long down, and that's a mark under some heat by Ferraro. He's looking further afield. He puts it in front of Aranjo, but it even doesn't get towards him, and there is a diving mark taken in defence by Boronia. Henderson's there at centre half back. He's got some open space potentially to go to Dower. He's slow to get it. It's touched off the boot. You can hear in the effects mic the play on call from the umpire. So Templestowe in good position. Wilson claims it at centre half forward, puts a high ball towards Aranjo. He didn't read it too nicely. In defence, Lake was good. Got some teammates to share with. Fairchild gets on the end of it. Hands it back to his teammate. And it's Godwin trying to kick it forward, but Lodge picks it up. Lodge takes on 3 tacklers, gets it to Wilson, who bundles a quick kick. He'll hope for the line, and it does get out of bounds, and they'll gain some territory and hold it in to Templestowe, as they had no one home when Wilson quickly scurries a kick forward.
That's where they need another forward option. It's, again, just looking for Aranjo at every opportunity. They've got to have someone else up there as the target.
So it's an interesting ruck contest as it goes over the head, so no one can claim it initially. Rapasada takes on the bumps, and his hand pass was a throw. As he sort of tried to ride the opposition's bump, he just, well, it's McAlpine, is it?
Yeah.
McAlpine just threw it under the heat of pressure, and it's going to be a turnover right in front of goal, 30 metres out, and Blake will have a set shot to convert for Templestowe's 3rd goal.
It's actually a good call, that one.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
You might as well have taken that off the snap. It's been Tom Brady.
So Blake from directly in front. It's a much needed goal. It's a low scoring game, which is the script which Templestowe wanted. Halfway through this third term, he's kicked it, caressed it through the right side, and it sneaks in. It's through the middle. Goal to Templestowe. Blake gets Templestowe's third. They're 3-4-22, trailing by only a goal. Boronia 4-4-28, Eastland scoreboard.
Even though the footy's been better, the scoring still hasn't upped, has it? So both sides really struggling when they get the ball inside their forward 50. But getting it between the arcs, they've both worked really well.
Let's go to Barry Kotz in the score centre.
Yeah, Division 1, Bayswater and Knox. It's Bayswater 7-5-47 to Knox 6-4-40. And Wanturna South Upper Ferntree Gully, it's Wanturna South 7-7-49, Upper Ferntree Gully 5-2-32.
Thanks, Barry. Taken by Henderson off the ruck. His kick up towards the edge of the centre square, towards centre half forward. Worthing going back foot, quick hands, finds Brown, gets tackled pretty well, gets the hand pass away to Casales. He chips it onto the right boot up towards centre wing into the run there of his teammate Bradley. He's taken to ground there. Good tackle by Brennan McAlpine, who gets the footy back, and then he's taken to ground over the boundary line. And we'll have a boundary throw in right in front of the Templestowe interchange.
And that's where Templestowe would feel a little bit aggrieved, because this quarter, that's what they're paid, holding the ball to just about every single time, which is correct. If you take the player on and get tackled, and he did that again.
So winning the ruck there was early. His tap goes there to Bradley. He's taken to ground. Good tackle applied by McKernan. Players converge, and we'll have another ball up about 5 metres south of the previous one. As Griffiths goes into the ruck, he wins the tap. Millen is grabbed from every angle by Templestowe players, and we'll have ball up number 3. Let's go to Barry Kotz in the score centre.
Yeah, Premier Division, Vermont 42, Montrose 23, Doncaster 21, Rover leading 36, Bourne 49, North Ringwood 40, and Norwood 17, Trail Noble Park 19.
Thanks, Barry. As the ball has travelled just inside the forward 50, and we'll have another ball up right on the 50. If you're enjoying the coverage, SEN 1377, SEN Plus, streaming around the globe, efl.org.au, or simulcast on Radio Eastern 98.1. Here's Chin now. Avoids the tackle, got dragged to ground, held it too long to the umpire. Oh no, he's pushed in the back now. Well, I thought he dropped that. So another free kick that we have a differing opinion on here in the commentary box. Here's the kick now, finds Fairchild just inside the 50 here for Boronia. He plays on quickly, switches the play, and out come the Hawks. Here's the kick up towards centre wing. Godwin just dragged that one down there in front of his man McDowell, and he goes by hand quickly. Here come the Hawks, shaking the tackle there was Granlund. Chipped it in short, finds Robinson, long way from his usual position in the forward line. He chips a nice short pass himself, finds McKernan, gain of about 15 metres. McKernan now trying to find a teammate there in Henderson. Good jukes from him. The big man takes the mark, 65 from home, and he looks to pump this one up towards the top of the square. About 10 players up there. Hannon couldn't take it. It trickles through at the back to White. He puts it straight through, and that's a major there to the Boronia Hawks Footy Club, and that's their 5th of the afternoon. They move to 5-4-34. Templestowe 3-4-22. 18 minutes gone on the Eastland scoreboard.
Well, that was just great reading of the play then. It was a scrambly contest up there. The ball's trickled out the back, and a great Crummer's goal, and one that really hurts Templestowe, that one, because again, a bit of one against the runner play. Templestowe have been in control the last 7 or 8 minutes, so they've got to get one back on the board.
Let's go to Barry Kotz in the score centre quickly.
Yeah, Division 1, East Ringwood 18, Trail Lilydale 41, Bayswater 47 to Knox 40, Wanturna South 49, Upper Ferntree Gully 32.
I think De Soysa took himself out in the marking contest, which meant it spilled Boronia's way. Boronia trying to get the contest. Ugle just ran over the top of it for Templestowe, so no one claims it in the end, and we'll have a secondary ball up in the middle of Templestowe reserve.
They've been very good at Templestowe, not allowing Boronia to get first hands on the ball out here, haven't they?
So rucks go at it again. Templestowe's ruckman in early gets up high, taps it down, but Hare claims it, and he kicks. Well, his kick has been chopped off by Brown. So Brown runs away from Hare, gets a hand pass off to a runner, and on the outer side, good pass finds Ferraro on the outer side. at half forward. He's got another option, and who do you reckon it is? It's Arangio. He dropped it on full pelt. He claimed it, and then he let it go. So at ground level ball, Bradley gets it inside 50, but the mark gets to Godwin, who is the relieving defender. And now we'll have a 25-metre penalty, will we, for an encroachment? No. As the kick finds a short in Lake. So Lake at full back will go as long as he can down the line. 1v1, and the one of Boronia was a good winner in Hare. Hare gets it off to Hannon, but it was a free kick against Hare because he bumped him out. Well, I thought it was within 5 when he did whatever he did.
It was just good body strength.
So it's going to be a free kick to Worthing, who gets a short pass to Ugle. He's looking to be sneaky and find a lead of Arangio in the pocket. Gets a high up and under. Arangio drops it to the back where he had a runner, but McDowell couldn't win the race onto the ball, and it's been bundled over by the defender, and McAlpine concedes the point. 3-5-23. Templestowe trail by 11 on the Eastland scoreboard.
So Grayland's kick out of defence. Finds Rapazada there in the back pocket. He switches back to where it came from. Gives it over here to Lake. And Boronia trying to get out of their own defensive 50. And told to play on now here by the umpire. Goes in short, and the target there is Collins. He's had quite a few touches this game. Collins now hugging the boundary line. His left foot kick finds McKernan. Just a 15-metre gain there for the Hawks. And now been told to play on is McKernan. He puts it onto the right in towards centre wing. Target there was Robertson. He couldn't take it. It goes over here to Wilson. He gets a hand pass out there for Templestowe, and flying in there was Sam Stewart, and it's gone over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in right in front of us.
Yeah, I think young McDowell up in the forward line for Templestowe, he's got to work a lot harder to help wrap Arangio out.
So in comes the boundary throw. One by Hannon out of the ruck, but one by Casalis there for Templestowe. His kick finds Milled there for Boronia. His kick up towards centre half forward. Robertson the spoil from behind. It's rove brilliantly there here by Dylan Dower. Shakes a couple of tackles, chips it in towards goal, but it's not going to have the carry. Just cleaned up on the back there by Templestowe, and up now here to Fitzsimons as Dower was collected there off the ball, and appeals for a free kick go unhilded. Here's the kick across, finds Brown in the opposite pocket. His handball was an absolute Barry Crocker. Manages now here to get it and clean it up now, up to here to Nagel. Nagel shakes a couple of tackles, puts it up onto the right boot, and finds his teammate there in Max Blake. And Templestowe atone for a bit of a mistake there at the back. Here's Blake's kick in towards the half-forward line. Lake did very, very well, and he forces it over the boundary line for a boundary throw. Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, let's check some Division 2. Ringwood and the Basin. The Basin 38, Ringwood 28. Scoresby well behind Mulgrave. Mulgrave 53 to Scoresby 20.
I just wonder if Ugle should attach himself to Arangio, because even if the ball fell, it was all going to be Boronia when he spilled the ball. So it's now Rapasado who takes on the tacklers. He juggled the ball in the tackle, but he got a hand pass out to Collins, who's besieged by two tacklers. Another tackle comes in on McKernan, but he's so robust he bounces out of it. But he doesn't really, says the umpire, and it's now a free kick goes to De Soysa for Templestowe for holding the ball against the skipper of Boronia.
I agree with you, Gav. He needs to have someone else working with him, Arangio. It's always one out.
So it's Griffiths who loads up a big leap at centre forward. Claim marked by Boronia, but no, says the umpire. And falling to the ground with the ball is Fairchild after he put it up in the air like he claimed a mark. But you don't get to do that. The umpire blows his whistle, yes or no.
Especially when 9 other people have touched it before you.
So it's a ruck contest, centre forward for Templestowe. Would like the next goal to keep close as Stewart bounces off a few players, but he holds his legs. Now he goes to the ground to pick up the ball at centre forward. He's just a terrier. Like a Jack Russell that used to bite at my ankles and used to be annoying when I visited my brother. But he is tenacious. So it's another ball up at centre forward. So it's now Casalis being tackled. His hand pass was a bit up and under. Ground ball now to be won. McAlpine runs with the flight of the ball. He gets tackled to the ground, and Templestowe holding ground. And let's get more scores around the grounds of the Eastern Footy League.
Yeah, let's check Division 3. Waverley Blues 44 to South Belgrave 38. Warrandyte 43, Whitehouse Pioneers 18. And Donvale 88 to Churnside Park 20.
Thanks, Baz. 5-4-34 plays 3-5-23 out here at Templestowe Reserve. Griffiths took the ball right off the ruck, then got pinged for holding it as he was tackled straight away by Hannon.
I think he's got every right to complain. He actually got the ball. He did handball it. He just handballed it into the bloke's hands and ball just hit the ground. a bit stiff there.
So Josh Hannon going to take the free kick here for Boronia, just inside his defensive 50. The kick up towards centre wing, just inside the boundary line. Big fist over the top there from Robinson, and we'll have a boundary throw dead on centre wing, far side of the ground. It's 25 minutes played here at Templestowe Reserve. This Division 2 clash between Templestowe and Boronia, round 3 of the Eastern Footy League. One of 20 games being played today, and over the top there comes Griffiths, socket off the ground there by Dower, gained about 25 metres, and then it bounced over the boundary line for a boundary throw. Let's go to Barry Cox in the score centre.
Yeah, interesting in the Premier Division. It's only a 2-point lead to Balwyn 50 to North Ringwood, who are actually ahead 52. So 52 North Ringwood, Balwyn 50, 2-point game.
Well, there's some
shocks and size.
Yeah, and there's some EFL Insight bets that have gone wrong. Anyway, here's the ball on the centre of the deck. There is Casalis, managed to trickle it out there to Bradley, and it goes over the boundary line. I had Warren died as my roughie too. I think you picked them as well, didn't you?
Oh, I can't remember. It's all a blur to me.
So it's my previous 35 years. So 5-4-34, plays 3-5-23. Here's Robertson, wins the tap out of the ruck. Brilliantly taken by one hand by Ugle. His long handball in front of Wilson. He runs onto it brilliantly, takes a bounce of his own, takes 2 bounces. Will he take 3? Yes, he will. He'll run inside 50, put it onto the right boot in the direction of Arangio. Can't take the mark, and back going with the fly there. It is Miles.
Pressure?
And, well, we're going to have the umpire says no, not deliberate, and just the minor score.
We don't have deliberate for conceded scores, do we, in the Eastern Footy League?
I don't think we have, because if we did, that was one. He was 15 metres away when he...
So Templestowe 3-6-24, Boronia 5-4-34.
Well, from the top of the square, he hand passed the ball in through the points, and the field umpire saw nothing wrong with that. Now it's in Templestowe's hands. They're just sharing it around. Worthing's got on the end of it now, kicks it inside 50. Eranjo leaps in late, creates chaos, and at the ground ball, McDowell picks it off the pack and kicks a goal from 20 metres out. Templestowe back in this game because they close it to a 4-point game. 26.5 minutes in the third term. Scoreboard disappears with the score on it, so I'll just say it's 34-30, Boronia leading.
And that's what McDowell needs to do. That's how he needs to be able to help out. Just in that previous one, though, Wilson's got the ball running. Why did he try and just chip it in? He had no one 20 metres in front of him. Could have taken another bounce and gone into an open goal. So, I think Templestowe have actually played better than Boronia. It's just that Boronia are in front at the moment. It's going to be a very, very tight game, this one.
27 minutes played. The tap coming out. McKernan doing the roving. Tried to soccer that one off the ground. He's taken down there by Casalis. He goes in for a second bite. He's tackled in turn there by Waters. And we'll have a ball up. Let's go to Barry Cox in the score centre.
Yes, Mooroolbark and Doncaster East, and it's Doncaster East 12-10-82 leading Mooroolbark 1-4-10.
There's the hit out there from Hannon over the top, taken beautifully by Fadenos. He managed to get a kick out of that congestion, well played, but everyone is going to be beaten by the 3/4 time siren out here at Templestowe Reserve. It's Boronia 5-4-30 leading Templestowe 4-6-30. Goal kickers for Templestowe, McDowell with 1, Blake with 1, and Arangio with 2. And for Boronia, Hannon with 1, Chin with 1, McKernan with 1, Ryan White with 1, and Zach Robertson with 1. All single goal kickers bar Arangio for Templestowe. We'll take a short break here on EFL Game Day on SEN 1377, and we'll be back with more just after this.
Hi, it's Tim Watson, the all-new
You're clear, 4 minutes.
Thanks, Nigel.
Hey, guys. Look, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I'm leaving the flat. You're like family to me, and if I could stay here longer, believe me, I would, man. I know it's sudden, but I cannot miss my bus.
Hate saying goodbye to your radio? Download Radio app on your phone and take your favourite station anywhere. Radio app, free from the App Store and Google Play.
These undies that I'm holding are no ordinary undies. In fact, they're ovaries. Because on May 8th, World Ovarian Cancer Day, you're going to wear them over your pants. Like a true hero. 100% of the profits will go to Ovarian Cancer Australia to fight Australia's deadliest female cancer. So, start saving lives and buy your ovaries in-store or online today at Bonds or Bras and Things. It's time for ovary action.
ROBOT, robot building supplies.
Sometimes in footy, going through the motions, players can feel like a robot.
And what's wrong with that?
Nothing. Sorry, robot.
I can kick goals from 50 on my opposite leg.
No, you can't. But robot building supplies can save us time and money. Steel sheeting and stumps.
Robots got it.
Wire mesh, roofing and timber.
Robots got it.
Notting Hill, Sunshine, Preston, Dramana, Pakenham, Coldstream and Darnham. Robotbuildingsupplies.com.au.
Robot building supplies.
Now, Gary, you often tell me that you were one of the straightest kicks in the history of the game. What was your secret?
Alignment, Wispy, alignment.
Wow, that sounds really zen for a bloke like you.
No, I meant tyre power. Wheel alignments are a critical factor in keeping your car straight on the road, in how your tyres wear, and most importantly, the safety of your vehicle.
If you ever feel your car drifting left or right, book a wheel alignment with Tyre Power.
With world-class, state-of-the-art technology, Tyre Power is ahead of the game.
Call 132191 or see tyrepower.com.au.
Toyota value just keeps going and going. You'll be feeling it with a great deal on the Hilux 4x4 SR5 double cab pickup, and you'll be still feeling it with zero on-road costs. That's free rego, CTP and dealer delivery, and no stamp duty. It's all possible with the unbreakable Hilux. See your local Toyota dealer or search Toyota value. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota. Conditions apply. Offer ends April 30 unless extended.
Who can cater your corporate event or party with a taste that will keep your guests happy and chatty? Superman can! Everybody loves a traditional souvlaki or banquet, and who can do them perfectly? Superman can! Superman can come to you with his lamb and chicken charcoal spit and please any crowd of any size. Vegetarian? Gluten-free? Superman still can! So wherever you are in Melbourne, whenever you need something different and delicious, who can cater like no other man can? Superman can! Superman.com.au.
At Melbourne Airport, you can get 1 hour terminal parking for just $12. It makes it easy to greet your loved ones when they come home or give them a proper send-off. You can also park for up to 3 hours for just $24 and 1 day for $51. That's cheaper than a taxi to and from the city. For warmer welcomes, proper goodbyes and everything in between, Melbourne Airport Parking is here to get you there. Visit melbourneairport.com.au.
Hello, I'm Max for the Family Peace Foundation. I wish
30 seconds.
As they do. It's not that they get really drunk. I know they love us all, but it's just not the same when they drink too much. Sometimes it's Mum, sometimes it's Dad, and sometimes it's both of them. If only they would try.
10.
Etta. Family Peace. Do it for your kids.
Kevin Bartlett here. Your new SEN app is here. Catch up on all your favourite show podcasts. Download today.
Putting your mics back on now.
The local for your footy.
Thanks, Nigel.
Go for it.
And welcome back to EFL Game Day here on SEN 1377 SEN Plus, or streaming around the globe, EFL.org.au. We are at three-quarter time here at Templestowe Reserve between Boronia and Templestowe, where Boronia have the lead 5-4-34 to Templestowe 4-6-30. Davo, your thoughts on that quarter of play?
Well, look, it was funny. The scoring wasn't high again, but I thought it was a better quarter of football. There wasn't as many congested situations around the ground, a little bit more handball, some run-on play. But again, both sides worked really well between the arcs, just didn't work so well when it got inside the 50. Boronia opened it up a little bit more, tried to look a bit more sideways, fat side stuff, kicked a nice goal off the back of the pack. Templestowe, they just never gave up, did they? I really like the way Templestowe bring the ball from their defensive area. They've been looking to cross out. They seem to get the ball. Brown gives it to Zukowicz. Zukowicz out to Wilson. Wilson then uses his pace to get the ball forward. It's then that they just constantly look at Arangio, and that's why I said that's where McDowell's got to help out a little bit more. He's got to become more of a target so that when they look up, they see two targets and they don't always go to Arangio, who tends to be at the moment being double teamed every time they go forward. As far as Boronia goes, well, I haven't seen a lot of system. I'll be honest, I haven't seen too much system in the way they've brought the ball forward. They've just been a little bit more experienced in taking advantage of the loose ball when they've had it down there and getting those creative goals. So it is up for grabs. This is 4-point game. not a lot of scores in it, so you would think that if a team kicks 2 goals in it, they're going to win it.
Yep. So only 4 points the margin out here at Templestowe Reserve. One of 20 games being played around the east and across all 5 divisions as you go local for your footy. Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yes, we've got some three-quarter time scores coming through. And in Lilydale's game against East Ringwood, Lilydale 9-11-65 to East Ringwood 6-8-44. And Forest Hill have certainly kicked away since we last spoke. Forest Hill 15-11-101 to Nunawading 5-34. And the Pioneers and Warrandyte well ahead. Warrandyte 10-10-70 to the Whitehorse Pioneers 4-9-33. And a 4-point margin at three-quarter time between Boronia and Templestowe. It's Boronia 5-4-34 to Templestowe 4-6-30.
The game we're at right now. Fourth quarter, Baz on top of it in the score centre.
Just recapping.
Here's Gav Casey.
Back in the middle, who will win the crucial first contest? Henderson has been identified as someone that's going to go in the middle. Try to bullock his way, as there's going to be more one-on-ones from Boronia this quarter. Matt Clark is demanding the tackle stick. They missed a lot of tackles. McKernan breaks out of the middle, gets a long ball in. Contest for it. Brown knocks it to ground level, but Hannon's at ground level for the Hawks. He gives it to Hare on the right flank. Goes backwards to Hannon. High up and under. He's just going to put it 30 metres out. Robertson runs back with the flight of it. McKernan's at ground level. He's hand pass to Collins, who wasn't ready for it. He, under pressure, gives a hand pass backwards and eventually gets back to Luke Hannon, who loads up from 60. On bouncing ball. It's a dangerous ball for Templestowe. Ugle was smart to react and get back. And then eventually the Dockers are conceded it behind under a heap of pressure. 35 plays 30. Boronia leading by 5 early in this final term.
Well, that was just deja vu then from Hannon, wasn't it? The same sort of kick both ways. And
well, Nagel's kick out of defence has been chopped off here by White. And that was a very poor kick. It was intended there for Ugle, and it's been intercepted. So White's going to go back and have a shot, hugging the boundary line from about 35 out. And he's kicked one already this afternoon, and kicked one last quarter. Let's see if he can add to the Boronia lead. So here he goes off the right. It's a kick right across the face. You can hear the jeers there from the Templestowe faithful, and rushed over there by Joel DeCarla just for the minor score. So it adds to the lead by 1 point, 5-6-36. Templestowe 4-6-30. Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, close game in Division 2. The Basin 7-8-50 lead at Ringwood 7-6-48. So a 2-point lead to the Basin last quarter.
Nagel, well, he didn't make the same mistake. He ran in hand pass and he got the hand pass received, but eventually when he did kick it, he gets dragged off the ball. So Boronia tried to get a kick at goal. The smothered ball from Templestowe in the last line was good, and it's Zukowicz who takes it out of bounds in the pocket as Chin was running towards goal. He ran too close to the man in front of him.
Just like Icarus, too close to the sun. There we go.
Well, it was drawing him the goal. If the goal is the Suns.
We were trying to think of a Chin one off here, weren't we? But no, that'll have to do.
Yeah. So it's off the pack. Hannon takes it. Josh, he's got Luke in front of him, and bouncing ball. Luke is smart. He pushes his opponent off, but he's now got 2 tackling him, and Brown was one of them who takes it off him, and the trip goes against Brown on Hannon, who was on the ground, and all he could do was put his hand around his ankle. So Brown will leave from the back pocket. Will they clear the defensive 50? Now they do with a long kick out. McDowell was underneath it, goes out through his hands and out of bounds, but territorially that's so much better for Templestowe. They're 70 metres away from their own goal.
Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
You have Division 1 and Bayswater and Knox. Bayswater 8-7-55 lead. Knox 8-6-54, 20-minute mark, third quarter.
Thanks, Baz, as there comes the tap. Boronia pump it forward right off the pack. Robertson couldn't get a clean touch. It bobbles out now here to Worthing. He's pretty well dealt with there. Good tackle by McKernan. And we'll have a ball up just outside the 50.
Well, Matty Clark would be happy with that, because that was certainly was the tackle that stuck.
Yeah, but he said 10 out of 14 missed, so I don't know who's counting them. But yeah, he definitely noticed.
There's the ball up as Henderson dives in there. We're going to have a ball up right in the same place. So yes, the word from Matt Clark at the three-quarter time huddle.
Well, I think he's reacting to how well Templestowe played. He's gone for one-on-one more footy, but in the switch, they're going to have to be a lot quicker or much more forward progressive, and they're going to have to get some separation going forward, which they haven't been able to achieve yet in this quarter. They want to get some open space in the forward line.
So Sasha Early's kick down outside the centre square. Going for it there was Granlund. It went past him. Ugle tried to pick it up with one hand. Evading the tackle there was Lake. He triggered a hand pass out now here to Chin, and it goes over the top to Bose. He's wrapped up. Great tackle applied there by Lodge. As Fadenos shakes one tackle, gets a hand pass of his own out, then Templestowe pump this forward through early. It's a high up and under to a contest. No one can get a clean touch. Granlund did some great roving there off the pack. He kicks it up in towards the centre square. It's taken now here by Boronia through Hare. He goes back to Granlund, had a few touches in the last minute. His kick towards the centre of the ground finds Collins, and he plays on quickly. Kicks it up now in towards Robinson, and he takes it about 65 from home. Already got one this afternoon. Well, thought about going quickly and then a bit of indecision. Chips it in short, and he was paid for that indecision as the mark has been taken here by Zukowicz. And Templestowe have the footy. They move it out in the near side. Here's Jesse Wilson. Had quite a few touches of his own this afternoon. 5 minutes played here in this fourth and final term. Boronia with a 6-point lead. Here's Wilson now. His kick up towards centre wing. 2v2 and a good jukes. Great mark taken there by Kieran McDowell. There's McDowell now dead on centre wing. Oh, well, that was almost a mongrel of a kick there intended for Orangio out a long way from home. Boronia, they lose the footy though. Well read there by Lodge. He puts it on to the left in towards the goal square. It's taken. Great mark there by Ferraro, and he seals the deal there for Templestowe, and it is scores level 5-6, 36 apiece here. 6 minutes played on the Eastland scoreline.
That was great play by Lodge, wasn't it? He summed it up really well, put it in the right spot, and Templestowe, again, they worked the ball very well out of defence then, and they look the better side at this stage. So this could be a real upset.
Steve, I went and just quickly ran over the huddle where DeCourcy was yelling in a very positive manner, reward for effort. What you've done for 3 quarters only gets you to here, where now it's reward for effort. So they know they've executed the game plan. Now they've got to kick on. So it's back in the middle, but Boronia win the centre clearance again. Kick off the ground, make some ground. Hannon was there at centre half forward. Hand past the Hare. He's got some time just to assess options. He decides to go long. Henderson in the goal square over his back, and Nagel in the defence runs back onto it and runs away from the back pocket on the outer side. Ugle sets himself to mark it. Does have some late pressure, and the pressure is good to knock it down by Dower as it's out of bounds and gives an opportunity to go to the score set. I've just
ESPN Sports in there.
You got me. I knew you would get me on that. Score centre of the EFL.
Yes, a Premier Division, and it's a very close game. 3/4 time. North Ringwood 11-5-71, leading Bulwen 9-9-63.
So it's now still in the hands of Templestowe out of the back of the pack. Wheeling onto it is Fadonis. He gets a quick kick from centre half back to centre half forward. Knock onto Wilson. Wilson will run inside 50. Hand pass over the top. Big scoring opportunity. Running into an open goal is Lodge. And it's a goal from 30. And that is a big play on situation. A hopeful kick from the back line for Fadonis. And it fell into the hands of Wilson, and Lodge, easy as you like from 20.
So Wilson's become a very crucial player in this last half. His ability to get separation on the wing, his speed, his leg speed's been excellent. He's broken through lines a number of times, and that's a great effort so far from Templestowe, and they are looking the fresher and better side at this very moment.
Let's quickly go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yes, very interesting game. The Basin and Ringwood. The Basin 7-8-50 lead. Ringwood 7-6-48.
Thanks, Baz. As the scores come in from around the grounds, Griffith wins a tap, rove brilliantly by Stewart there off the centre bounce. Taken here by Lodge, the latest goal scorer. Here's Brown now here for Templestowe. Couldn't get away on that tackle, got a handball away. Here's Mild now here for Boronia. Chain of handballs here for the Hawks is intercepted there by the Dockers, and it goes over the boundary line and out for a boundary throw. Let's go back to Barry in the score centre.
Yep, Division 1, the Bayswater and Knox game at 3/4 time. Bayswater 10-7-67 ahead of Knox 8-6-54.
So 8.5 gone here in the final term at Templestowe Reserve. Griffith win the tap. Rapazada is gift wrapped, and appeals for holding the ball are rewarded and Casalis was the tackler, and he takes the free kick. Oh, it's dangerous short chip, and just found Stewart. So been the theme of this afternoon. A few short chips that haven't gone the required distance or have been risky. Here's the kick now. Falls to tested players. It's still inside the forward 50. Wilson's under it now. Here for Templestowe. Can't grab it. One-on-one contest there with McAlpine. Wilson shoved out of bounds along with the ball. And we'll have a boundary throw in right on the 50 here for Templestowe.
Good work by McAlpine, Dan. He's done some really good defensive pieces today. And again, it looked like he was going to get beaten by pace, and he used his body well then.
So in comes the boundary throw. Taken there by Hannon with two hands. Rapazada pumps it up towards the edge of the centre square, bounces over Griffiths, but he takes it on the rebound, and Brown couldn't handle that one correctly. Fadonis goes off the ground. It tribbles up about 10 metres. Ugle sold a bit of candy, speared it in towards no one really in particular, and went out over the boundary line for a boundary throw in inside.
Did everything right then. Ugle just disposal at the end was pretty poor.
I thought he was going the other way.
But he has put it into a dangerous area again.
Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, very quickly in Premier Division. Vermont 60, Montrose 36, North Ringwood 71, Baldwin 63, Norwood 37, Trail Noble Park 42, and Donvale 29 behind Rowville 68.
Just off the boundary throw in. Sam Casalis has put it through. It was a real ping pong affair there in the goal square, and it came out to Sam Casalis, snapped around the body, and it's through there for another major. And Templestowe starting to run away from Boronia now. 7-6-48, Boronia 5-6-36. Well, caught that one. Caught me by surprise, didn't it?
We were all spectating it. That's a good goal.
Yeah, what a fantastic. We're all listening to the dulcet tones of Barry Cotts. Barry, you got some more scores for us?
Yeah, let's look at Division 1. East Ringwood 44, Leadale ahead 65, Bayswater 67, Knox 54, Murrelbark is 30, Doncaster East 88, Wanturna South 59, Upper Fintry Gully 36, Croydon 41, to Park Orchards leading 47.
Ugle again out of the centre, goes directly down towards his teammate. Blake runs onto it, he runs into a tackle, and it's penalised for holding the ball. Ugle, sometimes he looks like he's running to Boronia's goals, and it catches everyone off guard, I reckon.
He's been quite good, actually, and the one thing that's been noticeable has been Templestowe's run. They're really running hard at the moment.
Well, they've trailed at every break, and they've closed the gap progressively, and now they lead by 12 points after kicking 3 goals this term to lead 7-6 to 5-6. So it's in their hands. They've really gone to script how they wanted the game to go, and the fall of ball, Stewart at centre forward has got a nice short on, and it's an uncontested mark. Just all the defence evaporated as they try to rush forward, and it's Blake got the ball at centre forward to take an uncontested mark. And with Boronia having to take some risks, they might be exposed in defence.
Well, at the moment, Lake just kicked that ball into the middle, and there was a 1-on-4. Templestowe were going to clear it easily. So this was a crucial goal, because a 3-goal buffer is going to be pretty tough in these conditions.
So Max Blake has already scored 1 goal in that third term. If he gets the second, it'll be the biggest lead of the day for Templestowe, but it's a minor score, pushes out to 13 points, misses the right. 7-7-49. Templestowe lead Boronia 5-6-36. That is the Eastland scoreboard. 12 and a half minutes gone, final term, as the ball gets kicked out to Lake.
So Lake has it now in the pocket here for Boronia. They work it up now. Good shepherd applied there by McAlpine. Here's the kick up towards centre wing now here for Boronia, but it's all Templestowe. Nagel took a pretty comfortable mark on the edge of the centre square now here for the Dockers, and decides to go backwards across the ground, and the Dockers move it out now here through to Carla. His kick up towards Casalis. It looked like he may have been held without it as Henderson dived in there as the ball jars loose out of the pack, but comes right back underneath, and we'll have a ball up on the centre wing on the far side of the ground.
Yeah, it was a poor kick to him, but Casalis did well to hold the ball up then.
So 5-6-36, Boronia trailing Templestowe 7-7-49, 13 minutes played in this final term. Out pops the handball. Blake giving chase for it. So is Fairchild. He's got it, but Blake went hard into the fence, and I think a free kick given now here to Boronia, but it was smothered brilliantly there by Casalis, and he takes it and puts it onto the right foot inside the forward 50. Target was Arangio, but Jared Lake had the better jukes at the back. Plays on quickly, maybe dangerously, but manages to get away from his man. Kicks this one right back to where it came from. Unable to take the mark there was Bowes. He manages to grab it off the pack, gave a pretty ordinary handball there off the deck, and it's going to be a ball up. And, well, some indecision here from Boronia late in the piece. It might cost them. Here's Barry Cotts with the score centre.
Yep, Division 2, it's the Basin 50 to Ringwood 48, and Heathmont 73 leading Mitcham 68. So 5 points of difference.
Some close scores there in Division 2. Here's the kick inside the forward 50 for Templestowe. Brilliantly picked up by McDowell. Swings around onto the left. Chipped it in short. And a strong mark taken inside there by Mark Ferraro. And he'll line up dead in front from about 35 out. This could be the coup de grace, the way the game's going, Davo.
And look, and that was another great bit of play by McDowell. He needed to get involved. He did. For a big man to pick it up below his knees like that was excellent. Great little kick-off. And if Ferraro kicks this, it's looking pretty grim for Boronia.
As don't know what that sound was on the effects mic. Might have been Dan Sensick. Bit of rage, but anyway, here's Ferraro. His kick on the left. Oh, he doesn't miss from there. Straight down the middle, and that's his second of the afternoon. And it is Templestowe 8-7-55, Boronia 5-6-36. The Dockers running away with it here. 15 minutes gone on the Eastland Schooler.
Yeah, 19-point lead is going to be pretty tough to get back, and Boronia just look. They really haven't looked great all day. They've never been able to been allowed to get their running style going, and Templestowe have just run hard, tackled hard, and they're even running harder this quarter. Been very, very impressive with all their outs. You know, they've been very undermanned today.
We'll get more scores just in a moment as the rucks go out into the middle of the ground. Boronia need the next clearance and a score as quick as they can, because it's 15 minutes gone in this final term. Big 19-point lead to Templestowe. Henderson's got it at the back of the circle. Short kick to Hannon's dangerous, but he does mark it in front of some heat from his opponent in Waters. Quick play on situation, one-on-one with the taller option, nearly marking it for Boronia. Collins has to bend down over it, and he's well over 6 foot, so that's a big effort, as Collins then has to come in as the tackler, and he wraps up William Lodge. So it's going to be a ball up, 50 metres out from Boronia's goal. They've led at every change, 11 at quarter time, 5 at half time, 4 at three-quarter time. Now trail by 19 halfway through the fourth. Long kick in, big defensive mark by Brown. Big marking contest, quick ball in, but Brown, resolute, takes a big mark in defence. He'll go long to half back. It's set up nicely with a good kick. Good position there was Bradley. Down ground ball is won by Ugle. He gets it hand pass to Lodge, rides the tackle, gets it off to a runner. Big hand pass forward by Wilson to Lodge. Ollie Lodge gets it back to Wilson, but the line's too close for Templestowe to progress, and it'll be a ball in forward of centre wing. For as Templestowe been outstanding, we might have a chance for more scores around the EFL.
Yeah, Division 3, and it's Warrandyte 71 to us Pioneers 33, Donvale 118 to Churnside Park 45.
And appeals for a high tackle there on Wilson. Sorry, that was Bradley.
Yeah, it's been Ugle, Lodge and Wilson who have been just the runners, and this quarter have just really helped Templestowe.
Early wins the tap down there. Bradley goes searching for it. It's loose on the ground. And Hare can't get it out there for Boronia.
Well, I didn't notice it before, but they've rode the tackles beautifully, Templestowe. Maybe it's their strength of body that means that Boronia can't stick their tackles, and it's costing them in this final term.
Without a doubt, and they've been like that all day.
So in comes the throw. It's Henderson, dropped it, got away with it. Millen got tackled by 2 Templestowe players. One of them pretty much picked up one of them on his shoulder and gave him a ride. That being Bradley. And we'll have another ball up now here, edge of the centre square. Even the umpire was enjoying that one. Here comes the ball up.
He's an ex-player, so I think he appreciates the humour.
So Templestowe got a free kick. Not sure what that was for.
Over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder. Thank you. He is early.
He's been good too.
Yeah.
I like him. He's raw, but he's been good.
His probing kick finds Orangio a long way from his usual Homestead on the top of the goal square. He switches the play in towards the centre of the ground. Unmarked, there was Faden. I see it was over his head. Running onto it brilliantly, there was Brown. He goes hand pass over the top. It goes over as Worthing couldn't hang on to it. He may be beaten by the boundary line. No, did well to keep it in, but he puts a high up and under kick and a good strong mark taken at the back there by Ryan White. His hand pass finds a teammate across there in Granland. He chips a short one in and he finds Millen. And Boronia trying to build from the back here as that kick intended for Harvey Chin went all the way over and out of bounds.
That's where they've hurt themselves, haven't they? That kick that they want to be able to get a running clearance from, they've just not been able to hit it all day, Boronia.
Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yeah, Division 4 and Forest Hill are well ahead of Nunawading. Forest Hill 101 to Nunawading 34.
Griffiths wins the tap, but he spikes it back to the boundary line, and they'll let the clock just chew this game up for them, Templestowe. They've established the lead, the scripting of this game and the performance of the players to be without Pearce, to be without Cripps, to be without Davenport, and have a lineup that has held Boronia, who's usually a free scoring team, and now to run away with a big lead as we approach time on last term is fantastic. But it's in the hands of the Hawks in the middle of the ground, looking for options. They're looking for some spread as it goes long, but in good position. Templestowe setting up nicely as it goes free kick to DeCarla, who stood tall in the marking contest at centre half back, took a big punch into the midriff as he was going for the mark, and Templestowe have done well in defence as well.
Yeah, look, that was just excellent. Just stood his ground the whole time, and again a poor kick into the forward 50.
So DeCarla goes long to the wing, but it just gets short of McDowell, and it's been taken by Mild, who's been serviceable today. He looks at a couple of shorts, then decides just to put it centre forward. Not many forward marks, but this time it has been Robertson who gets onto it and takes a good grab. He looks at another further option, leading option, hits him on the chest. Good lead by White into the ball and into open space. He'll have a shot from 40, and he can't muck around with the kick, but it has to go through the middle if Boronia are any chance to win this game today.
And that's what they needed to have done all day. Get separation, put it into the right area, don't bomb, and there's space.
White kicked a goal in the third term, looking for his second and to close the gap to 13, but it's gone off the right of the boot and has missed, and it might be conceded by Templestowe. Yet to be a score, working it back into it behind is Nagel. So Templestowe are happy to maintain an 18-point lead as the 21 minutes expire in this fourth term.
Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yes, getting very interesting at Walker Park, Mitcham. At three-quarter time, it's a 1-point lead. It's Mitcham 11-8-74 to Heathmont 11-7-73.
Thanks, Barry. The mark taken there out of the kick out there by Hannon of the Josh variety here for Boronia. He's about 60 from home, 65. Trying to close the distance now. He chips it in short into the pocket. That one's over the head of Collins. Henderson can't keep it in, and we'll have a boundary throw in the forward pocket here for the Hawks.
And that's because he took so much time and allowed the Templestowe players to run down, block all those entries up, and that's the only space he could go was out wide.
So in comes the throw. Hannon over the top. Ugle doing the roving. Bursts through the pack. Gets a hand pass out. Was good. Kicked up now here to Worthing. He puts a kick in towards the centre of the ground. Looking for it was Blake. McAlpine ran into trouble. Blake at the fall of the ball. Got gang tackled there. And we'll have yet another ball up. Straight in the centre of the ground. So Templestowe 8-7-55, leading Boronia 5-7-37. 22 minutes played now here in this fourth and final term. Rapazada's no-look handball goes over the top. Here's Dower. He puts it onto the right, into the forward 50 now here for the Hawks. A contest now. It comes to Fitzsimons here for Templestowe. Shakes two tackles, left the ball behind. Robertson lays a good tackle there on Lodge. And we'll have another ball up. Let's go to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yes, an interesting game between Ringwood and the Basin. Currently a 9-minute mark of the last term. It's 8-8-56 apiece.
Scores level out there between the Bears and the Redbacks as this one socket off the ground and over the boundary line. It goes for a boundary throw-in.
Well, I think there's not too much time left in this game, and look, they've just blocked it up and blocked it up and blocked it up, Templestowe. They've played this last 5 minutes very well.
Yeah, they're doing well. It's now in their favour just to hold this game up as they did in the first three quarters to good effect. Quick kick forward by Bowles, and it's been marked in the forward line by Hannon, who was in position, and it just sort of fell his way as he held his ground. And Josh Hannon will try to get another goal on the board, but it might be all too late. 23 minutes into this final term. Needs to do what he's part of the deal. Get it through the middle, and then can Boronia push a fight back? He's just snuck it in, I think. The umpire's deciding on it and is going to have a discussion with the field umpire. If I was calling it, it looked like it was about to miss, then drifted back to the middle, and I'm giving it a goal from my point of view. But the goal umpire's totally confused, got underneath it, and is now having a discussion with field umpire. They might call a point, least score. So that's controversial because I reckon it's a non-decision and a minor score's given.
Well, controversy here late. And I'm not sure if it's really going to matter in the context of the game.
No, but it's an interesting discussion. You never see a field umpire asking.
No. Here's the kick up towards the edge of the centre square, and we've got a free kick going the way here at Templestowe. They play on quickly. Well, they might have the numbers going forward and might catch the Hawks unaware. Here's Worthing now in behind the play. His handball over the top. Finds Lodge. Lodge puts it onto the left and towards the top of the goal square. Target is found there in McDowell, and this to put this absolute sealer on the game from about 15 metres out.
Tell you what, Lodge has been very good with his disposal into the forward 50, and that's just another great mark. And, you know, to McDowell's credit, he had a poor first half, but he's really stood up in this second half, and he's become a good target, and he's really helped Arangio out.
Quick score from Barry Cotts.
Yes, indeed. 15-minute mark last quarter. Bayswater 12-10-82. Knox 9-6-60.
Thanks, Barry. As McDowell lines up for his potential second of the afternoon, puts it onto the left, and he makes no mistake, and Templestowe have their 9th of the game, and that surely is the game now. It's Boronia 5-8-38, trailing Templestowe 9-7-61. We've played 25 minutes on the Eastland School.
And all credit to Templestowe. They've done their homework. They've worked really well. Like everyone has played their role. When you have a look at the players all over the ground, everybody's done something at some stage, and that's probably been the difference, because Boronia have had a number of their players down on form today. I don't think they've had near as much out of the clearances, and this is an area which Templestowe's been really good at.
As Maxwell Smart would say, the old 11-point turnaround. The goal umpire was asking whether Boronia scored a goal, gave him a point, and then it went right up the other end in a blink of an eye, and it is a big turnaround. Game over, but Boronia still go through the middle with Millen trying to get to Robertson. Robertson disappointed he couldn't be first to the ball, just knocks his opponent over, and he gives him a bit of a touch and a tickle, and it's a play-on situation.
Should have been missed it by that much on that.
Yes, very good. As Waters took the mark at centre-back, gets paraded up 25 metres, and now they're playing possession football to Stewart at half-back. Another possession short to Ugle on the wing. If they can find another open player, it'll go to them. Templestowe are happy just to hold the ball as this game comes to an end. Well, being held in the contest, no free kick to the Templestowe player. Collins is underneath it as Boronia move out of their defence, go long, but Stewart again, he might be in the votes as he gets in the way at half-back, and Robinson couldn't get towards the ball. It's amazing how all these kicks are dropping short for Boronia, and Templestowe, when they can control possession, they'll kick to each other short, and Ugle now says, I'll just put it for centre forward, see who comes to it. Arangio leads to the ball, on the bounce he grabs it, he goes to his right, gets inboard hand pass to the running Bradley. Bradley bundles it forward, but Henderson's in the way in defence and marks 40 metres out, so Boronia relieve.
So Henderson's kick, and there's the final siren, and the Dockers will take the points here this afternoon. They are victorious 9-7-61, defeating Boronia 5-8-38 here at Templestowe Reserve. Goal kickers for this afternoon, Templestowe at 2 each to Ferraro and Arangio, and singles to Casales, Blake, McDowell with a pair, as well, and Ollie Lodge with one. And for Boronia, Luke Hannon, Chin, McKernan, White and Robinson with one apiece.
5 goals to none in the last quarter. That's a convincing win.
Yep.
And really, we talked about it during the call. Their run, their use of the football was so much better after quarter time than Boronia's. You know, this is it might be a good kick in the pants for Boronia, this one, and it certainly will make teams stand up and notice Templestowe, because, you know, we have to admit, when you take Pearce, Cripps and Davenport out of their side. They're three outstanding footballers. So, they've come out today and they've played really good team football and well worth watching. And I was very impressed with Templestowe today. Very impressed with the way they went about their game.
So, as Davo mentioned, a 5-goal explosion there in that fourth and final term. You have to, if we take a look at some of the better players for Templestowe, I know we're going to get into the votes later, but I think Alex Brown has to be up there for his work across the half-back line.
He was outstanding all day, wasn't he? And that's the thing, he's right from the first quarter, he was influential in being playing defensively well, but also attacking. And that was, he had a shot on goal. So he did a lot of really good work today, and that was I thought he was an outstanding four-quarter player. But then, we were told to look out for Tim Stewart.
Yep.
And the coach was right, because he was exciting at the contest, ran well, used the footy well, and even in the last quarter there, belied his age by being really strong. You looked at Wilson. Wilson's last half was electric. His ability to run the lines was fantastic. I thought Ugel's last quarter was tremendous. He got the ball well. But again, you go through their list, and they had people that made contributions and positive contributions all the way through. I thought Lodge did some really good things. Nagel in the back half was positive. McDowell after half-time stood up and really gave a good target. I thought the combination with the two guys in the ruck, when Early and Griffiths were really good. So, Fedonis was good, Takala, Casalis, they all did some really good stuff.
Let's go to Gav Casey, standing by with Craig DeCourcy.
One of the best coaching performances. I have to give you credit, Craig. You've probably coached a script, and the execution from the players was perfect today. Great win by Templestowe.
Yeah, no, it was a really good win. Obviously, Boronia, great opposition. It was a terrific game of footy. Probably one of the better games since I've been coaching this division. But just really impressed with the way the boys hung in there. And, in the end, we knew if we kept going for 4 quarters, we might get on top in the end. It was good.
And I think you've frustrated Boronia because they couldn't stick a tackle. They had to go one-on-one, but you ran away from them at the end. In terms of what you did for the first 3 quarters to give yourself that chance to run away with the game, just what was the game plan in if you can paraphrase it?
Look, we just really wanted to have a real influence around the contest. We sort of put some numbers around there, and we wanted to try and frustrate them a little bit with their ball use because they're so clean with the footy, and wanted to make them sort of kick quick. I thought we were able to do that and win the ball back at half back, and the boys, eventually used the ball really well. It was pretty frustrating coaching for the first half. I didn't think we used the ball well enough, but I thought we were winning the ball around the contest, and in the end that came, and the boys got the reward in the last quarter.
Well, you did say reward for effort. They obviously did what you wanted to, but that last quarter, to run away 5-0, that was a fine effort by your side.
Yeah, it's really good, and hopefully that gives us a lot of confidence now that we can kick multiple goals in quarters. We've been able to do that for the first 3 rounds, and then to do that in the last quarter when we needed it, hopefully that just gives us confidence.
Is there a quick one from the commentary? Because I reckon Craig deserves to sing the song.
Yeah, no, go sing the song.
Yeah,
we'll talk to him later, mate. No worries. All right, Craig DeCourcy there with Gav Casey, and great, as Gav mentioned, great coaching performance there today. We'll just quickly go to Barry Cotts in the Score Centre, Davo, and we'll come back.
Yeah, a lot of other games running behind ours. So in relation to the Basin and Ringwood, it's the 20-minute mark of the last quarter, and it's the Basin 9-9-63 to Ringwood 8-9-57. And the 20-minute mark of the last quarter, the Bourne game. Bourne leading 84 to North Ringwood 77. So a close game there as well.
Yeah, well, look, as far as this game goes, you're right. DeCourcy, Craig's coaching performance was outstanding, but you're only as good as your players, and if your players are willing to perform their roles exactly as they were asked, and that's what we got from Templestowe today. We got 18 of their players who were willing to work really, really hard on every time they're on the ground, they performed the role that was expected of them. If you go through Boronia, the players we expected to stand up and give them the real drive just really weren't there today. Both Hannons tried hard, but really were quite ineffective in what they did. Henderson again tried hard in the ruck but didn't do a lot. Chin started well early, but he drifted out of the game. I thought Godwin was good in defence, but again, it was more some of their small defenders that were good.
Exactly right, and Gav Casey has got Tim Stewart of Templestowe standing by while he's just about to get set up. But look, some interesting scores coming in from around the grounds. At Templestowe now, that's Boronia's first loss of the season. Templestowe still hasn't lost yet, so interesting going forward. Only round 3 though.
It is only round 3, but it sends a great message. It says to the rest of the competition that Boronia are not one of those sides that can't be beaten. But what it also does is it sends a message to the rest of the competition to say that Templestowe can come out and play the football they did with 3 of their more well-credentialed players out of their team, and they were able to stand up and perform against the premiers in the way that they did today. Was outstanding.
And we're joined in the caravan this time by Tim Stewart. Tim, great game for yourself and a great win for Templestowe.
Yeah, it was a good win. After coming off a 2-week break, and one of our boys went down pretty badly, and it was good to bounce back from that. But yeah, it was good.
Now, 5-goal fourth quarter was the difference. We heard Craig DeCourcy going reward for effort. What was the feeling of the boys, and what do you think broke the game open in that fourth quarter?
Oh, we went into the game sort of trying not to think too much about how good they were. We just played our structures, and it sort of all worked out in the end. We went back to simple footy and plenty of pressure and used our skills, and yeah, it was good.
We were just saying that it looked like there was a team that went out there and everybody played their role, and that was the thing that looked very different from Boronia. We know they've got some good footballers that can play great footy, but all over the ground, we were saying, Alex Brown in defence today was absolutely outstanding. We thought you were great as well, but then players just constantly. Matthew Zukowitz did great work down in defence. The run of Wilson in the back half. After half-time, you just seemed to really want to run them off their legs. Was that part of the plan?
Yeah, it's always part of the plan, I suppose. I think we had 6 injuries come out of the side, so it was good that the blokes coming up stepped up. They all played their role. But yeah, it's always the aim to play run and carry footy. But yeah, it was good.
And I think under the tackling pressure that you put on them earlier on, probably that was the way you were able to get that run, particularly in the last quarter. Even Ugle came in, and he's an interesting player. I would imagine you just don't know where he's going. He's going one way, but he really thinks well in advance, and his handball was exceptional, I thought, at times today.
Yeah, a lot of the time the teammates don't even know where he's going, so he fools all of us. But it's good to have Ukes back in the side. He missed last week, but yeah, he's a good addition to the side.
And I suppose you don't realise it, but your coach put you under enormous pressure on the earlier today, because we asked him who we had to look at in the Templestowe side, and he said there'll be a bloke called Tim Stewart. Have a look at him. He'll certainly stand up and give us something. And today we thought you were outstanding right from the word go. You work inside and you work outside. Is that something that you've really worked hard on? Is the fact that not just being an in and under player, but also being able to carry it on the outside as well?
Yeah, it's good to have lead up forwards that give you plenty of options, so it makes it easy to hit targets when you're running out of the guts. So yeah.
All right, I think we'll go and let him enjoy this one because he's had such a good game. But Tim, thanks for joining us, and great game from yourself and a great win for Templestowe.
Cheers.
No worries. That's Tim Stewart there from the Templestowe, victorious. And Davo, look, it's going to be hard to split the votes this afternoon.
Oh, it is. And it was funny. I was sitting while the last bit of the game was going on. I was sitting there going, I wonder what I'm going to do with my votes, because if Boronia get up, I'm probably going to give nearly all my votes to Templestowe players, which was going to be quite unusual. But I think I'm happy to go ahead and give my votes now, because I think they're.
We've got to wait till Gav gets back.
Gav gets back and he does his stuff. But I thought there was some, as I say, there'd nearly be about 6 or 7 Templestowe players before our first Boronia player, I think. And that says something about the way that Templestowe went about it. But also, it gives Boronia an opportunity to sit back and go, right, we need to reset. What do we need to do? I noticed that Steve Teakle came straight up to the van and said, have we got a copy of the film? Because they'll take it straight home and they will be analysing not so much Templestowe, but exactly what they did today and hope to readjust for their next game, which, if I have a look at where we are, where they've got a tough game. Yeah, they've got the Basin. Oh, Templestowe got the Basin at the Basin.
Yep.
And
Boronia
have got Ringwood at Boronia. So, it's going to be a fascinating, especially with Ringwood playing well today, it's going to be a fascinating game next week.
And it looks like Gav Casey is going to get Alex Brown to join us in just a few moments' time. But yes, don't forget tomorrow, EFL game day from 10 o'clock, SEN 1377 SEN Plus. We'll wrap up all 5 divisions of the Eastern Football League, all 20 games played here this afternoon, as we'll get more scores coming in from the Score Centre shortly. But now look, Templestowe, 3 wins in a row now. Got to build some confidence. That's Boronia's first loss. Boronia, as we talked about, have got Ringwood next week, who in a close one here with Mitcham, in a close one with the Basin at the moment. What do you think the feeling is going through Matt Clark's after that first loss?
Oh, look, he'll be bitterly disappointed because it wasn't a Boronia-like performance. Again, he made mention of it at three-quarter time about the lack of tackling pressure and the ability of them not to hold their tackles. If you have a look at it, Templestowe have come out and beaten Ringwood at Ringwood. They've then gone on and beaten Scoresby, and now they've beaten Boronia. So they've beaten the teams that finished 1, 2 and 3 last year in the first 3 rounds. So, you've got to give a lot of credit to Templestowe. It's not something that most people would have picked. And so Boronia, who have had an easy win against Mulgrave, and then they've also beaten the Basin, they come up now against a Ringwood side, and they'll have to go back and try and get a bit more of their running style. And as I said, too many of their players had below par games. I thought Collins tried really hard during the game. They probably just didn't get enough around the ball. Zach Robinson gave them, and Ben Robertson gave them a little bit up forward, but probably not enough. McKernan started really well, but it was a bit in and out. When he did get the football, he was his quality, but not enough. Hare did some okay things, but again, turned the football over way too many times. So, they've got a bit to work with, but as you said, it's round 3, it's not round 17, and they've only lost 1 game in their last 6, so I don't think that's panic stations yet.
And we are now joined by Alex Brown of the Templestowe Footy Club. Alex, great win from the boys this afternoon.
It's a big win. We went into the game thinking they're the benchmark, and they definitely still would be. We looked at them the last few years as being the benchmark, so we came in and we stick to the plan. It was fucking unbelievable. Sorry.
No, you're right. We are in a PG time slot, I think. No, but
he said sweps.
Fair enough. Now Dave and I were just talking about that. You've now beaten the teams that finished first, second and third last year in the first 3 rounds of the season. How's that play out psychologically for you boys?
Yeah, well, going into the season, looking at the fixture, I thought there was something wrong. We had all the 3 best teams straight up. But every team in this comp now, because the restructure, is just going to be a tough battle. So, I mean, it is a good feeling to get wins against these teams. But yeah, next week it's just going to be another battle. So
it looked to me as if today you had a little bit of a licence to run, even though you play I thought you played an excellent defensive role, but your ability to run, especially between the arcs, and then get back and defend, is that something you've worked on?
Yeah, it's something I try to do a fair bit. I do sneak out the back a bit, but yeah, I have been given the licence, kind of suck off, and then as soon as we win it, try and get on the rebound.
And there was even an opportunity there to kick a goal that just went awry. But we were saying before when we were talking to Timmy Stewart that your ability to all perform roles, and that was today the real key that we saw, was that everybody that went out on the ground actually had a role to play and played it really well, and that must be really pleasing.
That's probably the most pleasing thing. We did have quite a few outs coming in today, some of our stars, so the guys came up and play their role, like you said, and just that's all you got to do in this kind of level. You just got to play your role and grind the team down to 4 quarters.
Now, 2 guys that I haven't heard much about, and they're new to the group, but was really impressed with the way they worked together with Sasha Orley and Bailey Griffiths. So
the two ruckmen,
The two ruckmen. I thought they were, because they're up against some quality rucks, they were outstanding today with their contest all day.
Yeah. And Bailey's a young fella. He's just going to get better and better and better, which is great signs. So, and Sasha's come across from Adelaide, just competes every contest, whatever. And they haven't actually played together this year, I don't think. So it worked really well. And like you said, their ruckmen are elite, and they can get forward and kick goals. They have in the past. They've kicked some pretty big goals against us. I think it's Henderson or, love their game.
And I suppose the other thing to look at is that you still look pretty young as a group, and that there's a lot of upside. You know, the players that have gone out are your more, I suppose, more experienced players. When we look at Pearce and Cripps,
in terms of football played,
and Davenport, a lot of upside with a lot of your young players.
I think last year we had a year where we lost quite a bit of talent, but Dicko really coached us well throughout the year and got us into playing just really good contested football no matter who came into the team. We had a lot of young guys play good senior football for a lot of the year, so that held us in good stead. And then coming to this year, just like you said, it helps so much.
And I suppose we should have realised that it was going to maybe be a bit closer, because Boronia reserves are also a very good side.
Yeah, they've been the best forever.
And your reserves took it right up to them today. So there's a bit of depth at the club as well, which is really important.
Yeah, and like we said, with the guys being out, it just shows how much depth we have, and it's great signs. It's great to be part of.
All right, Alex, I think we'll let you go and enjoy this one. Thanks for joining us here at EFL Game Day. Good win from you guys, and best of luck next week. All right, that's Alex Brown here from the Templestowe Footy Club. And Davo, looks like we might have to get into our votes now.
Yeah, we'll have to go close. And what I do like to see is a little bit of traditional football coming out, that both players haven't walked in with their Powerades. So,
going back to the 80s, mate.
So look at...
sometimes that'd be at half-time.
Yes. well, it is at most vets games, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say. All right, so we might start with the... Let's say we start with a Trojan workhorse player, workhorse of the day, $150 Trojan toolkit going to the hardest working player. And I'll start with you, Davo.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go... I'm going to throw someone out there that probably didn't get a lot of possessions, but I thought he worked really hard all day, and we've spoken about him just before in Bailey Griffiths in the ruck. I just thought he worked for a young kid to come in against a quality ruckman like Ryan Henderson. His ability to work really hard was great. He made some mistakes, but I really liked the fact that he never gave up the entire game.
We're going to have to rename the award to Best Ruckman on the Day, because Davo, you're picking ruckman every week.
I am actually, yes. There are. Well, they do work pretty hard, I must admit. But I have.
No, it's a good choice. Yep. There's guys that work themselves through the game. They did the little things, didn't they? Templestowe with neighbours are there. Templestowe, maybe even a Zukowicz or a Casales or a Faidonis.
Well, actually, Casales, if you think about it, he had 2 or 3 efforts in a row in a couple of in that last quarter where he was able to make great tackles, stop the contest, put his body on the line. So, again, I'm happy to go with him as well, and he's probably one of those players that doesn't get noticed or spoken about too much.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I think with Sam Casales, worthy winner of the Trojan toolkit. So I think we'll go with Sam Casales.
Overruled the expert.
No. I think it was either between him, in my opinion, Bailey Griffiths, or I'd have to, even maybe Jesse Wilson, but he might figure among the best on ground votes. But
Trojan workhorse, not to the audio guy.
Well, the static of the day. All right, let's go with Sam Casales, Trojan workhorse, $150 Trojan toolkit coming your way. Now, if we move on to the Tobin brothers goal of the day, I'd have to say it was either Arangio's goal, his first one, or I'd have to say the last one to Casales again. He looks like he might be getting 2 awards. But any others that you would think were a worthy winner?
I'd go for Arungio. That one that he took, and probably the one along the ground that he managed to, and it was at a crucial time as well. So I thought that was a pretty good goal from him.
Okay, I think there's not much dispute about that one. So Daniel Arungio with the $50 Coles Myer gift card for the Tobin Brothers goal of the day. Now we get down to the all-important Eastland player of the day, the 3, 2 and 1. We'll start with you, Gav.
Well, Boronia were getting a lot of clearances from McKernan early, but I did think he worked himself through the game, and his kicking is actually he goes at a good rate. He doesn't miss targets. He's careful with his possession, but he's so robust in getting it that he gives himself time. I actually like the game of McKernan. I might be wrong there, Davo, to give McKernan a vote, but I've liked his game. And then I'm going to give 2 to... I'm going to give it to Casala, so I think he worked throughout the day really well, and 3 to Stewart, because that's pretty obvious.
My go?
Yep.
As I said, I thought, and I said before, if Boronia had won, I was still going to give my 3 best on grounds to 3 Templestowe players. I just thought that they had the better individuals on the game. I'm going to give 1 vote to Matthew Zukowitz. I thought right from the moment go, right to the end of the game, he was solid. He rarely turned the footy over. He was part of that group that was allowed them to switch the ball across ground and use the ball. Thought he was excellent. I've given 2 votes to Tim Stewart. Thought he was his in and under work and his outside work was elite. I really thought he worked hard, but I'm giving my 3 votes to Alex Brown right from the minute dot. He defended well, he ran well, and he didn't allow any of the Boronia forwards to get any easy supply. So my 3 votes goes to Alex Brown.
Okay, so on to myself. I've given 1 vote to Jesse Wilson. I thought he was fantastic, particularly around the ball and on the wing. Some good supply there for the Templestowe forwards, so he gets my 1 vote. Stewart, for aforementioned reasons, he's getting the 2 votes, and I'm giving 3 votes to Alex Brown for the Eastland Player of the Day, and on 6 votes, unless we're going to include someone else. No, we're not going to. So it's the 3 of us. Alex Brown is the Eastland Player of the Day. He gets the $100 Eastland gift card voucher. Congratulations to him. Now, so we're just about to wrap things up here at EFL Game Day, about 5 minutes before we start with EFL Game Day with all the scores from around the grounds. 20 games in action today around the Eastern Football League as you go local for your footy. Join Damo Watson in the studio, but let's quickly go to Barry Cotts, who's got some updated scores.
Yes, we've got some final scores filtering through. And firstly, in Division 3, South Belgrade 15-19, 109 have defeated the Waverley Blues 13-5, 83. Rural Bark and Doncaster East, a big win to Doncaster East. Doncaster East 21-18, 144 have defeated Rural Bark 5-6, 36. And a win to Mulgrave. Mulgrave 15-10, 100 have defeated Scoresby 10-5, 65. That's a bit of a turn-up.
I'll take that. That was my roughie. Anyway.
Yes, Bayswater. Other gains, Division 1, Bayswater 13-11, 89 have defeated Knox 10-8, 68. And as well as that, East Ringwood and Lilydale came out on top by 10 points, 14-15, 99 to East Ringwood, 13-11, 89. Wanturna South and Upper Ferntree Gully, it was a win to Wanturna South, 11-12, 78. 11-12, 78 defeated Upper Ferntree Gully 7-10, 52. And a disappointing day for Doncaster. They were beaten by Rowville 13-17, 95 to Doncaster 6-5, 41. And a very interesting game indeed, which ended in a draw between Ringwood and the Basin. At the final siren, it was 10-9, 69 apiece. So a draw in that game between Ringwood and the Basin. Rowville, they came out on top against Doncaster 13-17, 95, Doncaster 6-5, 41, as I said before. And that's about it at this stage. And as you said, the full score update between 5 and 6 right here on 1377 SEN Plus.
Thanks, Barry. Top job from you all afternoon as we're about to wrap up here from Templestowe Reserve. Gav Casey, great job from you this afternoon.
Well, I enjoyed commentating with you, Steve, and it was even though it was low scoring, guys, it was a good game to watch. I didn't get tired of watching it at all. It was a good contest, and Templestowe, brilliant effort today.
Davo, the words of wisdom always in the coach's chair. Fantastic game from you and good job. And it was low scoring in the end, but we got a good game.
We certainly did, and credit to Templestowe. They did their homework. They carried everything out to the letter of the law, and I was very, very impressed with them. And it certainly makes it a very, very tight competition in this Division 2, doesn't it? Absolutely, it does. Great job to media manager Dan Sensick on social. He's gone to get a burger, I'd say, or the last of the burgers that I left here at Templestowe. Thanks to Leroy Green up there providing all the footage here. LKM Media, get on it. Bruce Prest, our sound engineer here in the truck. Thanks very much, mate. Another great job. And, that'll wrap it up here from Templestowe Reserve here on EFL Game Day, SCN 1377. Don't forget, tomorrow morning from 10 o'clock, EFL Sunday, I should say. All the scores and all the results, and we'll break all of that down. We'll talk to some of the coaches, and don't forget also EFL Insight during the week. Head on over to efl.org.au. We have some midweek breakdown and a couple of coaches to talk to, as well as our Where Are They Now segment. We had Christian Barsley from ex-St Kilda player last week, and ex-Scoresby player, of course. So make sure you tune into that one as well. On behalf of everyone here, I'm Steve White. We thank you for tuning in here on SCN 1377. Stay tuned now for the EFL post-game show, where we'll go through all the scores and the results from around the league in the Eastern Football League. It's goodbye for now.
Breakfast with Gary and Tim.
Thank you, guys. You're all clear.
Thanks, Nigel. Catch you later, mate.
Is a great way to exercise. But until they're 10, children must always hold an adult's hand when crossing the road. Friday, 17th of May is National Walk Safely to School Day. If you can't walk all the way, combine a walk with public transport. If you must use a car, leave it a good distance from school and walk the rest of the way.
And remember, active kids are smarter kids.
Find us at walk.com.au, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter.
At Melbourne Airport, you can get 1 hour terminal parking for just $12. It makes it easy to greet your loved ones when they come home, or give them a proper send-off. You can also park for up to 3 hours for just $24, and 1 day for $51. That's cheaper than a taxi to and from the city. For warmer welcomes, proper goodbye.